and an owlbear cub.
You get to have them? You get
Yes.
to eat them?
No.
No eating owl bears. Okay, gotcha. Cubs
No.
specifically. No, you get to
They
have them
just
as
run around.
okay. And do your two lizard, like wall lizard dragonborns, do they keep them as pets?
Yes.
That's
Well,
fair.
less as pets. They're more, you sort of accumulate trays as you play Baldur's Gate. And if you do it correctly, you have a lot of lost people just hanging around in your camp everywhere.
Yes, you can't act that offended by the idea of eating your cute pets. There's gotta be a story you've written about something similar.
No, they're still
No.
No,
here. So like,
just
it's a
eating
pet now.
humans
Yeah,
made
Cass
of
is really,
mushrooms.
really good to cute animals in their
Uh,
writing. It's the humans that they like to get into the guts of.
uh,
That is a terrible pun. Oh my God.
I will say that I have accumulated a lot of people in my camp in my solo playthrough. I have lost more people than I have acquired. Um,
Oh no.
so early on in Act One in my campaign, Asterion just left.
What did you do?
Like I did not have him in my party. I had him in my party like at the beginning because I only had the three people, so like I wanted to round out the party, right? And then as soon as I got other characters, I was like, I no, not this guy. And then I did the first long rest where he like is like, oh, do you can I bite? Can I eat? And I thought it was going to turn into sexy time with Asterion, so I did not stop him, and then he killed me. And so after that, I just kind of like did not talk to him or use him at all. And then like a couple hours into Act One, he just vanished. Like he just is not in my camp anymore.
For context, he's a poncy little white-haired vampire dude who tries to surprise you with the fact he's a vampire sometime into the game, and you're like, duh.
Duh.
So basically, Carlos and I should watch out for a white-haired vampire named Asterion because he will not give us sexy times. He will instead kill us. So
He will give you sexy time if you play the game different. So the big thing about Baldur's Gate is that every choice that you make, whether it be a dialogue option or an action that you take in combat or whatever, will affect the storyline in some way. And so the path that I took of the first time that he approaches you and tries to eat you, that does not lead to sexy time. That leads to you dying. But that doesn't mean that in the future, if you make different choices and you keep him around and you make him happy, because the game will keep track of the relationships that you make with all your companions, that doesn't mean that it won't lead to sexy time in the future.
marvelous. What else should I don't know. I like a lot of spoilers, but Carlos doesn't. I'm like, tell me everything we should learn about Baldur's Gate 3. I've never played 1 or 2, but Carlos has, so it will be brand new to me, a new territory.
Well, this is also
I don't even.
Yeah, it's super brand new to me too because this is like a very different game from the other ones. There was no sexy time in the other Baldur's Gates, if I'm remembering correctly, and this is like I want the walkthrough for maximal sexy time. Like, how do I basically...
We're playing that game?
Yeah, just like,
okay.
All sexy.
It depends on who you want a sexy time.
There's a nice
why
droid
why
who really wants
choose?
sexy time.
Like, can we literally sexy time everyone? Is there a way to, like, sexy time all the time?
Most characters will allow you to sexy time multiple characters. There are some characters who are... very monogamous, yes.
Interesting.
The one who will fight for your honor if you cheat on him.
Amazing. Okay, I think we should probably start the stream, everybody, now
sorry.
that we scared away, everyone who doesn't like sexy time. So sorry about that, everybody, but here we go. We'll start showing faces in just a moment. I am doing OBS as always, which is always terrifying. But now, you should be able to see us. And I think you probably see Will Sobel most of all because he was the last person who spoke besides me. Welcome, everybody, to part 2 of the Negocios Infernales playthrough. My name is Carlos Hernandez, and today we have the pleasure of showing you the other co-creator, Claire Cooney. Claire!
What? Hello, everyone. Just kidding. That's not how I really talk. I just wanted to wave at you and say hi.
Claire, what's that background you got going on?
It is one of the Baraja del Destino cards. Sorry. It's an Espacio card that says every discovery expands infinity. I want to show you it, but there it is. There.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Look, don't you love the little guy with the tentacles? I love him.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll sign my poetry book for me.
Oh, that's a Brandon O'Brien joke.
Is that
I know
a
that
reference?
Anyway, welcome everybody to part 2. What we're going today is show you the second half of the game. And the first half, which you can see on YouTube now, and we'll be posting links to the Kickstarter once both VODs are available. But in the first half, we went through our safety rules, we did our invocation, we created characters, we created relationships, and we built out our Espada a little bit. So Espada is the country where this takes place. It's a corollary to 15th, 16th century Spain. But we make it unique in every game. And this game got real unique real fast. So one of the things I want to say to everybody is just a little bit of a content warning. The game always has a little bit of macabre tinge, but it can vary. And this one went pretty body horror pretty fast. So as a content warning, just if body horror is not your thing, be aware that, we probably will be delving into things body horror-ish. Content warning.
And also very bleak society.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
but Bleak Society might turn into comedy, depending on how you decide to play it, so we don't have to...
It might, but we did get pretty bleak.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty bleak.
Yeah.
So just want to throw that out there as well.
Don't worry. As soon as it gets too dark, I'll just sneeze and we can just lighten the tone right up from there.
That's actually a great intro to the next part. What we want to do is sort of like just quickly review our characters and our relationships and our world from last time so that you can just get a sense of what we're playing. And so people were drawing cards left and right to create their characters and their relationships. But I'm going to just ask us to go in the order that I see on my Zoom screen, which is Brendan, Anna, Cass, and Will. In that order, if you'll just tell us your character's name and what their motivation, role in court, magic, and doom are, and what relationships they have set up with other characters. So, Brandon, why don't you get us started?
Hi, it's me, Brandon. I will be playing Ernesto Aguirre, whose motivation is to avenge the death of his entire family and technically also himself at the hands of someone who is joining us this evening. Our good friend Blake assassinated my entire family line in order to gain wealth and status, and I am here to ensure that he gets his just desserts, and also discovering in hindsight that everybody is just kind of evil and nasty and cruel and backstabbing, and I don't like that, and it makes me very uncomfortable. So I am the court's risk assessor, essentially using my ability to sometimes just tell our beautiful Reina Resoluta that the decisions that we're making are bad and unhealthy, but sometimes tell her, yes, if you continue down this path, there are great riches on the other end of this decision. And I have this ability called Liar's Tongue that gives me the opportunity to tell a lie and to make it true, but at great physical cost to myself. And my doom is that that's going to go very, very poorly for me to the point where I'll probably slowly turn into a black hole. So that's going to be delightful as well. So I'm here to woo Marta, who also apparently has very strong machinations to destroy Blake as well. But neither of us know this, apparently, so that's going to be delightful. And kill Blake, because Blake deserves to die. It's very terrible that he even in this court. So I'm definitely going to undo that as quickly as possible. And also to swear my life debt to Peppy, who saved my life, even though I may or may not have actually been dead, and Peppy probably didn't really enjoy the fact that I'm not dead. But I don't know that. So all I know is that Peppy saved my life.
This is so good. I mean, I gotta say, like, not to brag on my own game, but I have never seen a character creation go that way. Like, I might turn into a black hole. You know, I'm avenging all my family. I'm also dead, and I have life debts. I just feel like that package is quite unique. So, thank you, Brett.
What did the card he draw for Doom? Was it the "You Are Mostly Holes" card?
Yep.
Yes.
That's so awesome. I was like, oh, I wonder if you got that card. I'm keeping notes. That's what I'm typing away. So I'm muting myself so I can write everybody down real fast because I want to see it.
Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
So then, thank you, Brandon. Anna, what you got?
All right. As Classicor said in the chat, it began with Dr. Sneeze-a-Lot, and then stuff happened. So, hi, I'm Dr. Sneeze-a-Lot. My name is Marta. I am trying to cure a extended familial illness that has passed through my ancestors. That we just can't stop sneezing. And we can't get anyone to take us seriously because we just keep sneezing. Especially because my whole family is in the medical profession and no one wants your doctor to sneeze on you. I can't get anyone to take me seriously enough to be the court physician. So I am the assistant to the court physician, who is our good friend, Will, i.e. Blake here, and I just want people to take me seriously, so I want to become the court physician, which does mean, incidentally, taking out Blake. I also have been kind of stealing stuff from his bag to try and find the cure to my ailment, so I have been giving myself other ailments in the process, which I'm sure is helping the whole thing. My power is that I am very sensitive to sound waves. I can either reduce or amplify them, and so I was trying to use this to listen intently to the body, and try and diagnose what is causing my illness. Little did I know I immediately got outshined by that, by Peppy's ability. So, yet again, coming in second rank. So, you'll learn about that later. And then, my doom, if my doom catches up to me, is that I will take on the sins of all of my ancestors before me who have suffered from the same ailment. So if that happens, I have kind of an interesting idea of how to get that to manifest in a little bit more of a physical way. So we'll see. I have a couple of relationships. As you know, I'm the assistant to Blake. I'm also besties with Peppy.
Oh, yeah.
They are very much helping me with my medical kind of mysteries I'm trying to solve, as well as my mystery I'm trying to solve for myself. And also, you gotta have someone on your side in this very dark world.
Oh, God.
And then I am both lovers and rivals with Ernesto, because we are we are lovers, but also we both have it out for Blake, but we also don't know that we both have it out for Blake. We're apparently keeping a lot of secrets from each other. So I have a feeling that we might get in each other's way a little bit there.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
And that is Assistant Dr. Marta.
And is Marta's, are Marta's pronouns she, her, they, them?
She, her.
Oh, fabulous. I'm keeping notes. I just wanted to know. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Oh my gosh, poor Marta. Always an assistant, never a physician, nor, head grave digger or, grave excavator, as we're going to learn in a moment from Cass's character. Cass, tell us all about Pepe.
Pepe to the court, Pepe to friends. Pepe will not answer to any other name. No one has been able to claw a last name or second name out of them in recent history. This is probably partially because Pepe's motivation is learning more about the dead. She has this endless curiosity about them. She is a grave-digging academic who spends a really unhealthy amount of time in the ossuaries and the crypts, just developing happy fiction of other people's lives, literally dreams of the dead. They just want to hang out with dead people, but unfortunately, bills need to be paid. So their role in court is they are the court costumer. She is who Reina turns to when she wants all the nobles beautifully dressed, and Pepe does deliver. Only it's always vintage clothing. But they're very old, and they seem to be from very specific periods, and I think no one has dared to ask where the clothes come from. Pepe, in a desperate desire to learn more about the dead, had a long conversation with a puzzled alien. And the puzzled alien was told that she wants to communicate with people's truest hearts. And in an unfortunate tragedy of communication, this resulted in her developing a magic that allows her to talk to people's organs. Very specifically, if she talks to your heart, it will just grow a mouth, teeth, tongue, and chatter back. Given their knowledge of the fact that organs will occasionally just have conversations with you. She's convinced that her doom is as such. Pepe believes that they are actually a costume. And at one point, the costume will be shed and her organs will rise up and very carefully remove her face and carry it around like a very cute little handbag. But until then, she's actually having quite a good time. She's quite happy with the whole situation. She has her best friend, Marta, whose organs she can't really hear, possibly because Marta is constantly sneezing over every conversation that Pepe is trying to have with those organs. And it's very fascinating to her, nonetheless. And Pepe is told by Ernesto that Ernesto owes her a debt for resurrecting him, but mostly Pepe is just really sad because there was a fresh corpse that she could have had a long, interesting discussion with, but then it woke up.
Dang it.
But she's never going to tell Ernesto that he disappointed her thoroughly.
I love that the organs actually grow mouths. And of course, they're inside of a body. So they're like, hey, can you hear me? Like they're shouting through skin and bone and all that. It's amazing.
It works well when it's a corpse so she can actually open them to say hello.
Sure. Yeah, that's ideal. And skin is an organ. So just cannot wait. Cannot wait to see mouths emerging. Cass, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Will, take us home, please.
I get the feeling that everyone hates Blake. Blake, or Baron Landon the Alderman Craiglin Eastwood, is the physician of the court. And for as long as he can remember, he has been plotting the assassination of other court members to dissolve the wealth of Espada and their power especially his own family, who he has dissolved their power to bring more of the people into Espadan court. And he typically does this through his role as physician, some on purpose and some not, because he has no real experience in medicine and instead uses the magic that he has gained as a wizard to make people feel like they're feeling better. So you might have a cold and Blake will make you feel better, but it doesn't exactly cure your cold. And he can also use his power to influence the minds and dreams of others. And did he kill Ernesto's family? Yes. Does he think anyone knows? No. No, that was such a long time ago. He does know that Ernesto believes it to be malpractice, but that doesn't really bother Blake at all. And did he specifically kill Ernesto's sister, Clara, who was in charge of the family's finances? Yes. Yes, he did. And his doom is that, like his ability to make people feel things and communicate not via words so much, he believes that a massive cosmic-sized dog is going to invade the planet and specifically curse Blake with the inability to speak or understand anyone ever again.
It's amazing.
I hope you activate your doom first. That's all I have to say.
Amazing. We have covered a lot of the relationships. Did all of your relationships also get covered by other people?
Yes, the only one that because Anna is my assistant, Marta is my assistant, and I think that's going swimmingly. I wish that she'd stop sneezing everywhere, but she's doing the best she can. And does Blake know what is plaguing these sneezing? Probably not. Will that stop him from telling her that he does? We'll see. We'll see. He's got to play the role of physician, man.
Amazing. So this is the chaos that we wandered into last week. But more chaos ensued when we started doing the world building. And so what I'm going to do is refer us all to the Annals of Espada. So what we're doing is we're playing the game on Roll20. Things go a little bit faster and they're more handwritten when you're playing the role-playing version of the game. But Roll20 is great to be able to bring people from across the country together. So I am looking into ways to make it available on Roll20 for all backers at a certain level. More news on that as we get things figured out and stuff. But in the meantime, I'm going to refer us all to the Annals of Espada. So it should be appearing on screen right now, and I will go ahead and shift us to that vision right here. So here we go, and I'll just move it over a little bit so we're not blocking Will right now. But so in the Annals of Espada, we drew cards from the world building deck and a card from the deck of Destiny as well. And together, our fearless players decided these are the facts that make this Espada unique. And so, for instance, there was a question: what is the most popular game being played in Espada right now, and what unusual stakes are people playing for? I believe Cass answered this, and the answer was they're playing dice, but specifically with bones. They're playing bones, but in this world, this very brutal espada, there is this sort of like running mythos of the queen, Reina Resoluta, believing in victors and putting losers absolutely at the whim of the victor. So,
Whoa.
So the loser agrees to serve as the soil. I probably should have put that in quotes, but maybe not even. As the soil for mushrooms that the winner then gets to harvest. They literally cut their leg and grow mushrooms in the wound. Tastes like truffles. So gross. This is why we gave the body horror warning. Brandon, if you'll turn on your mic, you did a little research and found out that this is kind of possible, right?
Yeah. I read a story like immediately after we recorded last week. I read a story about a guy who apparently injected some fungal remains directly into his bloodstream and then went to the hospital reporting that he was in a great deal of pain, and they found that mushrooms were growing in his blood vessels.
Oh my God.
So yeah,
So
that
What the
sounds
fuck?
very unpleasant.
yeah. So
So yeah, what we're saying is that can definitely happen to you while you're alive, and even while you're not like openly cut open.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's right. Oh, right. Oh, yes. Bone dice and mushrooms.
important safety tip
Yeah,
for all of
don't
us.
knock it till you've had the mushroom soup, though.
That's
Oh
right. I
God.
mean, truffles are expensive, you know. I kind of all right. So that was one thing that we came up with. So the next question was, which artist's blasphemous work has sparked new laws about censorship and why? And then here's the answer that we came up with here. An anonymous someone is spreading pamphlets that say that if you off the queen, things will be good. Like there's a prophecy out there. Reina Resoluta is cracking down on anyone who claims to have prophetic powers. Of course, she doesn't trust prophets anymore. And several of our characters are prophets. That's awesome. Anyone who compresses the future is suspect. So it is definitely a very suspicious espada as well. And,
Oh, dear.
Yeah. The third one, what is Espada's most shameful moment in history? How does Espada spin it? Yeah, things went really dark here. So here we go. I believe, Brandon, you're responsible for this. The nation of Rota was incredibly diverse once upon a time. And so that's the continent on which both Espada, the country you're playing in, and its rival Pelea exist on now. But the war that split Rota into Espada and Pelea led to the destruction of the indigenous people of this continent. Espada claims that there was unfortunate, quote, collateral damage in the war that led to the destruction of the original people of Rota, but that there was no intention to destroy them. So that's how they spin it. So it's a familiar story, but one of the worst stories of a world, right? And then finally, what caused the economic crisis Espada is currently going through? And our final answer, Espada is flooding due to the amount of rain it gets. Whole cities have been submerged and the lands are growing more arid due to spreading erosion and salt. Oh yeah, by the way, the queen has decided to salt many of the lands. So just as a side note, this is a very carnivorous country. The queen doesn't dig vegetables for some reason, and so it's caused grain shortages and like fiber shortages. Terrible things going on. Since there is no cotton and the animals are mostly there for food, people are scavenging clothes from graves like one of our characters is. So this is the grim scene that sets the background for the story. Now, players, we're going to move on to the next part of our story here, which is you get to pick the plot. So, Negocios...
Sorry, Carlos.
Oh, yeah.
So really quick, can I just ask what your Reina Resoluta is like? Because I missed that part.
Oh, yeah. Let me put her up as
That's
well.
where our she's salting the earth comes from.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I think I
Also-
picked that up.
Also, where the prophecy came in.
Right.
Okay, so he's just weaving it in. All right, I can get it from.
Oh no, he's missed I think two other things, but they were weaved into those two things.
So I put the Reina Resoluta, right, because we also made our personal Reina Resoluta. Every time you play Negocios Infernales, you get a different kind of queen. This one is particularly, like, both bizarre and dangerous. So here are the 4 characteristics that make our Reina Resoluta unique. She believes that the victor in any conflict, that to the victor in any conflict, the spoils are absolute. If you lose, you are at the entire mercy of the winner, and the queen will use her power to enforce that. So, she's absolutely about victory. Conciliatory, she is conciliatory and avoiding responsibility by giving everyone what they want without regard for the consequences. So she is, it's a big sort of like interesting dialogue inside of her between sort of like victors get the spoils, but she also tries to give everything to everyone who's in front of her. Her father, the former king, had a prophecy that she had to be sacrificed in order for Espada to survive. Sorry about the survive there, typing fast. He died before she could be sacrificed, however. So now she lives in paranoia that she might have to die for the sake of the nation and is doing everything in her power to avoid that fate. And then finally, because of Reina's paranoia and inability to govern, the kingdom as a whole has moved away from agriculture. Fields have been salted and can no longer yield produce. Espada has turned largely carnivorous.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'll be quiet now.
No, don't be quiet. Cheer on. This is great stuff. So this really sets the stage for the next stage of the game, which is players get to choose which of the 7 adventures you want to play. There is a way to choose randomly, like each of the 7 adventures are colored to a suit, so we could draw randomly and determine that. But I have a feeling that you're going to want to pick a plot that matches this weirdo Reina and this, world that you've built. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly review what the 7 plots are, and then players, it's up to you to choose which plot you want to pursue, and then we're going to have a little fun with prophecies. So the 7 plots that come initially with Negocios Infernales are as follows. 1, there is a plot called Benefactors Gone Bad. One of the benefactors has broken away from the collective benefactor group called the Cosmic Consciousness and has an agenda of their own for themselves, but also perhaps for humans. And so it's a chance for you to, get on the benefactor's good side or maybe strike a new deal with a rogue faction. Plot number 2 is the Enchanted Isle. This is one where you could think like very Alice in Wonderland, or in this case, maybe Jeff Vandermeer. Weird things are happening in Mariposas that are inexplicable. And since Mariposas is a traditional ally of Espada, you're sent to investigate what's going on. And then bizarreness abounds. The next one is called The Ghosts Know All Your Sins. And so either ghosts that are real or ghosts that are imagined or people acting like they're ghosts a la Scooby-Doo are spreading vicious rumors around the castle and spilling secrets, spilling the tea on the queen and everyone else that the queen does not want spilled. So you have to figure out what's going on. Are these actual revenants coming back from the dead, or are these, maybe a rival faction inside of Espada that is trying to wrest power from the queen? So it's a spooky gothic horror mystery sort of situation.
Every single one of us perked up.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Every single one of us was like, oh, ghosts and shit, huh?
Yeah. So I'll just go through the rest of the plots quickly. The next one is Monsters Attack. This is our kaiju scenario where, basically the benefactors, they've visited a lot of planets and they've collected specimens from many planets. And one of them's gotten out, or maybe many of them have gotten out, or maybe a virus has gotten out. Something extraterrestrial is now running rampant in Espada, and it ain't so good. So it's up to you to figure out how to deal with it. And of course, you have to identify what the danger specifically is. There is the mystery of the missing Reina. So last night, your bizarre Reina went to bed, and the next morning she's gone. And nobody knows where. So it's a search to figure out what happened to her. Was she murdered? Was she abducted? Is she hiding in plain sight? What's going on with Lorena? And in the meantime, what chaos exists inside of that power vacuum? You get to figure it out and then take action based on your own desires. The next one is a royal wedding. To make peace with Pelea, the long-standing rival, Reina Resoluta has decided she will marry King Fernando, Rey Fernando. But her true love is someone perhaps who's not Rey Fernando, and maybe someone who would absolutely, cause chaos within the kingdom if she were to marry them instead of Rey Fernando. So does she get to marry for love? Does she get to marry for politics? Does she not marry at all? Is it war? Is it chaos? This is our sort of like rom-com, will they, won't they sort of scenario or maybe like a love triangle kind of scenario. And so it can be played for laughs or go far darker depending on how you want to do it. And the final choice...
I would love that exact U-turn on the tone we've been doing.
The final one is War with Pelea. You're on the brink of war. There's been an inciting incident that has pushed both nations to the precipice of war. There's one last chance to either tone things down or maybe strike first if that's what you decide you would rather do. So, is it going to be war? Is it going to be diplomacy? Is there intrigue, politics, world consequences going on? That's up for you to decide. Okay, players, converse among yourselves. Which plot would you like to play?
My
Ghosts, right?
Ghosts or wedding.
Oh, I kind of like, I like Ghosts, and I also like Wedding. I also like missing Reina, because it ties in so well to our prophecy.
I was thinking the same thing. It would be kind of interesting to like, discover maybe Reina Resoluta just disappeared because she was like, you know what? Tonight is the night I'm gonna die, and I'm not gonna let that happen. And the rest of us just kind of have to figure out what that means. Ghosts is just so perfect, though.
Yeah. This is a world that would have ghosts in it, huh?
I mean, we can't confirm. I mean, there could be all kinds of things. There could be sentient mushrooms.
No, don't. Can you imagine
mushrooms are bringing dead people back to life.
The mushrooms drink your blood, and then they become doppelgangers of you that are just made of mushrooms.
Cass's character is having 3 conversations with one body at the same time. One for the organs, one for the person, and one for the mushroom.
Yes!
Wow!
Yeah.
Also, you can have a wedding and the Reina can go missing on that day and there could be some ghosts. I'm saying you're the players. You can bring it wherever you want. You could even have the wedding on Metaposas and throw it all together.
But we do pick a plot. We do pick a plot, so...
Mm-hmm. This is essentially where we're starting, and then we get to discover where we're going after that.
That's right.
I would be fine with wedding also. I do think that Ghosts is like classic, but maybe we want to like mix it up a little bit, so I could be convinced.
Wedding has
a mushroom ghost now.
Wedding has this very interesting potential, depending on the cards, to go. This is the one time that Reina Resoluta has any opportunity to be happy or comfortable in her life. How do we ruin it for her?
Blake tries to court Reina.
Oh god, that would be something Blake would do, isn't it? Imagine you decide you're going to court Lorena Resoluta while she's already been betrothed to another man and 2 people are trying to kill you. But yeah, they're all so good. I guess part of the reason why I'm suggesting that we should probably go wedding is that Ghosts is so perfect that maybe it would be too on the nose to go Ghosts.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're doing a wedding.
We're doing a wedding.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Are we all in agreement?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anna?
Or rather, we should deliberately vote. I vote wedding.
Wedding.
I'm happy with it.
All right.
This is
Can we
hilarious.
throw like all the rom-com tropes in there and then just every single one gets turned into body horror?
Exactly.
There's only one bed, but it's a mushroom.
Yeah.
Oh god.
What was the JRPG Beautiful Hatoful, where it was just like the classic JRPG except that you were trying to date pigeons and they were
Right, yeah, Hatoful boyfriend.
Hatoful
Yes.
boyfriend, that one, yeah.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay, so on your screens now you should see a royal wedding in front of you. Does everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Perfect. So we're in a slightly different order than we were last time. So we'll just go with the order that I see in front of us now. So we'll just go for the purposes of reading. Brandon, Anna, Cass, Will. We're going to read the first 6 cards together in that order. So Brandon, you'll read card 1, Anna 2, etc. For the royal wedding.
At long last, Reina Resoluta is getting married.
A pity that royals rarely can marry for love.
Politics is clashing with desire in ways that will break hearts and jeopardize the stability of nations.
Your job as secret royal wizards of Espada? Make sure Reino Resoluta gets hitched without a hitch.
Ooh. Or else find a way for true love to win the day, without destabilizing all of Espada in the process.
Oh, that's me,
Anna.
sorry. Ready or not, wizards, here comes the bride.
Here comes the bride indeed. So this part of
The mushroom bride.
Oh Lord. Is that what we're gonna name
In
this
Stitch-
episode? The Mushroom
In
Bride?
Stitched Together Dead Person Clothes.
Oh my gosh. It's so
Did
good.
you make her wedding dress, Peppy?
Oh my gosh. Somebody called Tim Burton. We need this immediately made into a movie. Okay, so basically what you have in front of you now are 6 cards. You can imagine that Reina Resoluta is asking for your wizard to give a prophecy based on your connection to the benefactors of what's going to happen. So here's what's going to happen. Since Anna, you went last, Cass, you'll go first here. You're going to pick one of these 6 questions. Imagine that Reina Resoluta is asking you this directly. We're going to draw a card from Destino to inspire the answer. But you're not going to say yes or no or what happens. Instead, you're going to present a vision. What you should say is like, I see, or I feel, or I smell. Basically, you're giving a description of some vision that is before you that's more sensual than logical. So it's not like you would be like, you should not do this or whatever. You have to interpret that perhaps after the fact, but the benefactors send you a vision based on what it is. I'm going to be writing down.
Don't tell Reina what it is, or else you're going to jail for prophecy.
Well, you know, it's like rules for thee, not for me sort of thing, right? So I've opened up the prophecy card here where I will be writing down which question you select, which card you draw, and then the prophecy that you give in succinct form. So I'm going to serve as your scribe. Remember that in the actual live game, in the tabletop version, people take turns being scribe. It rotates around the table just as people take turns giving their prophecies. So let me put this aside for the nonce, and then Cass, which of the 6 questions would you like to answer?
I think I will have to do every wedding has at least one disaster. What will be mine?
So I'll make that nice and big here. Put it over here to the side. Every wedding has at least one disaster. What will be mine? So the Reina Resoluta asks you this question. You ask the benefactors, and the vision that they send back to you is this.
Oh God. Let's see what it is.
So, what vision are you going to see?
No.
I mean,
Oh,
Oh,
this is not a good start.
oh my God.
Actually, it's the best start.
So Pepe, all he really wanted to do was bring Reina her wedding dress that day to the very bizarre specifications that they were given. It has like nice poofy sleeves, a little bit of satin that they actually found somewhere and it looks great. And so she's hauling this dress into Rena's room, and Rena is like, tell me what will happen. Oh, the card says bleed, bind.
Yeah, sorry, I moved it now to the right place.
Okay. Um, and so struck with that question, Pepe just freezes there for a second, looks up, and fortunately, the mysterious and very puzzled alien gives her a vision. It's not the best vision in the world. Pepe blood everywhere, arms gashed open, throats open, bellies slit. She stops for a moment, face going slightly white, and then, with really wild look in their eyes, goes, I see the return of plentiful larders.
Ooh.
More food than we can possibly eat. Yes, 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 perhaps. All the gambling will result in kitchens stocked and tables full and children with bellies bursting with work. And once she has admitted that prophecy, she so runs away, just flings the wedding dress and scuttles off.
Oh my gosh. Kitchen's full. Children's bellies. What was it you said? Children's bellies? What was that?
Bursting.
Bursting.
Bursting with warmth.
Bursting is the important part.
Yeah, I got it.
She means it in a very good way. She's just a little bit morbid from spending all her time from corpses.
Okay. I love this. So, I'm just typing all this down here. Here's what I got. Help me remember some things, Caspit. So, the prophecy: blood everywhere, bellies gashed open. But what she says to La Reina is, or what they say, right?
She-they
She-they.
pronouns for.
Okay, so I'll put that. But what they say to La Reina is, I see the return of plentiful larders, more food than we can eat, kitchens full, children's bellies bursting with warmth. Does that capture it? Anything else?
No, it does. Basically, Pepe had a vision of a lot of mushrooms growing and a lot of dead people. And it
Oh,
was the
yeah.
best.
Well, I'll put that too. A lot of mushrooms growing out of people. Yes. Okay.
Very, very hard.
That is horrific. I love it. Excellent. We remove this card now. We will delete it. In the deck, you would just discard it. And then we move on to Will. Will.
Oh no.
That was, a vision. You get to have one now too. So pick a card. This is the card that La Reina asks you.
Yay.
Let's go with what are Ray Fernando's true feelings about our marriage?
Let's make this nice and big here.
I wanted that one.
What are Ray Fernando's true feelings about our marriage? I'll go ahead and draw the card to give you a moment to think. And this is how Ray Fernando feels. Give you a chance to formulate your thoughts about the vision here. All actions are chains.
The deck knows.
Amazing.
God.
Okay, so here we go.
Mm. Blake has no hesitation with his answer and very straightforwardly tells her that all marriages of convenience like this tend to benefit both sides, and just because we can't see what he is benefiting from doesn't mean that he won't develop true feelings.
Oh, interesting.
In a very classic deflection court politics sort of way. But we'll also mention to her that he doesn't that Ray Fernando does not have as many wizards at his disposal as she does, just to kind of plant a little seed right there.
Hmm. Oops.
I do appreciate you putting my name in all caps.
Well, it's an acronym, so I figured,
Uh-huh.
Makes me want to shout it in a happy way.
I was just thinking that it makes me feel like at the end of this, we're going to find out that Blake is a robot or some shit. Like, it's actually Blake 2.0.
Amazing. Okay, so here's what I got. Blake has no hesitation. He tells her, all marriages of convenience tend to benefit both sides. Just because it's a marriage of convenience doesn't mean he won't grow to have feelings for you. I'll change the pronoun here. For you. Also, not for any reason, but I'll just mention that Ray Fernandez doesn't have as many wizards as you do, Marina, so we should kill him. I mean, I didn't say that out loud. Something like that?
Yeah, that's great.
I'm going ahead and say...
now you have to do that voice for the rest of the session, Will.
I'm not inheriting that, no.
It's your choice, man. I just made a choice. You can make yours. Excellent. Thank you. We delete and we delete. Not really delete. They're just, hidden for now. We have 4 choices left. And so next on the docket is Brandon. Brandon, which question do you want to answer?
I immediately know, and I'm very glad that it stayed there. If I go through with this wedding, what will happen to my true love?
Ah, yes, here we go.
Ooh.
One of the big questions, because we do know from the introduction, Ray Fernando is not her true love. Let me bring this to the front, put it up a little bit. All right. And, Brendan, just to give you a little time to think about that as I'm putting in the title of the question and the card you draw. Oh, God! I love this so much. In your house, make mice fear you.
Oh, it's one of my favorites. I always say that.
So I'll let you think about that for a second.
They're all
as I
your
write
favorites,
down.
Claire.
I am so... The cards are so good.
Make mice fear you.
Make mice fear you.
All right.
I am so... Oh, God. This is... So... The vision that I get upon asking this question confirms a great deal for me, because I didn't know that Lorena Resoluta was in any romantic relationship before this point.
Aha.
And the vision lets me see who this person is. I get a clear vision of the both of them together.
Uh-huh.
And in this vision, I get the vague impression, it is not very clearly stated, but I get the very obviously emotional impression that this young woman, because it is a young woman, is deeply in love with our queen, but also deeply afraid of her, not as a person, but as a queen. Afraid of what her paranoid tendencies have the ability to do when she is not in check. And the only person who seems to really get that sense of her deeply is this woman.
So
And I get the impression that even though she will move on safely in the aftermath of this arranged wedding, things will be much worse for all of us, and she will always feel guilty about it.
when you say
But the
all,
thing that I tell...
sorry, I just
No,
want to say all
continue.
of us meaning all of Espada or all the wizards?
all of Espada
Okay.
will be much worse for wear without someone to temper our queen's worst tendencies. And this young woman will always feel guilty about it. And the thing that I tell the queen as a result is, your love will always persevere in the midst of this decision, but this decision is bigger than you both.
So your love will persist beyond this decision, but this decision is bigger than you both. Okay, let me read the whole thing back to you. The vision lets me see who this person, I said vision twice because I was going really fast, who this person is. I got the obvious impression that the woman is deeply in love with La Reina, but also, again, typing really fast, also deeply afraid of her. Even though she will move on safely, things will be much worse for all of Espada without someone to temper La Reina's worst tendencies. I tell La Reina, your love will persist beyond this decision, but this decision is bigger than you both.
Mm-hmm.
Sound good?
It does.
Saved. All right.
Good job, Scribe Carlos.
It is actually quite fun to scribe. I like it.
Scribe Carlos is very good at saving too, which I'm impressed by.
Okay. We have one question left, Anna, to get, and it's your choice. Which of the three looks good to you?
I am the most interested in is there anyone pulling Ray Fernando's strings for some ulterior purpose?
Let's go ahead, put that to the front here, move it over here. And so is there anyone pulling Ray Fernando's strings for some ulterior purpose? You're cleared. Oh, God. Oh, this is not so good. Uh-oh. Murder for order.
Okay, well.
Okay, I'm going to just go ahead and type in the question here. Give you a chance to think about that. Is someone pulling Ray Fernando's strings? You drew murder for order. What does Marta see and what does she tell La Reina?
Okay. So Marta has a vision about she has a vision of a figure walking through some bodies with some mushrooms growing out of them and digging their fingers into the flesh and pulling out a bone, which I know in kind of dream logic, this bone is going to be turned into dice for the game.
Ooh.
And yeah, okay. So the thing that Marta is going to say to Lorena is I don't know why you would ask the doctor, he's right. Did you want to ask? Okay, well, if you need an answer, um, all I can say is that, there are some people who might not always agree with the rules and the logic of what you've put in place, and they're completely wrong about that. But those people do exist, and so you need to be wary, because in this sort of arrangement, there's always going to be a lot of motives involved.
So, sorry, just catching up here. So, yeah, what was the last sentence? But you need to be careful because in these sorts of arrangements, and how did you finish that sentence?
There's always going to be a lot of motives involved.
Yeah. A lot of motives involved. Okay, so I should say Marta. We'll just say Marta here. Marta has a vision of a body growing mushrooms. But was it like many mushrooms? I feel like I missed a little bit there.
Yeah. I think I actually said multiple bodies all growing mushrooms.
Sorry, let me say that. Multiple bodies. And you'll see what I'm doing, chat. Like, I'm adjusting it based on what the vision person says. That's what the job of the scribe is. Basically, I want to just confirm what she says. So, I don't want to like change things just because I didn't write it correctly or summarize well. Marta has a vision of multiple bodies growing many mushrooms. A person pulls out a bone from a single body, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could just say body there. This bone is
Claire's
going to be
very excited about the digging into flesh.
For the purpose of dice, yes. I love bone dice.
So this bone is going to be turned into dice for Espada's favorite game, and that gives you the vision of like, I don't know why you would ask, well, why don't you ask the doctor? He's right. Okay, well, there might be some people who don't agree with the rules you put in place. They're totally wrong, but you need to be careful because in these sorts of arrangements, there's always going to be a lot of motives involved. So does that cover it? Anything else you want me to change or add?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay. Let's go ahead and save the changes there. Okay, so you have prophesied these 4 things about the upcoming wedding here. These prophecies are going to be used to develop La Reina's orders, and they're going to serve as the backbone of the victory conditions of the game. So this is the way that this works now. You've told these things to La Reina. Now La Reina is going to take what you told her and turn it into an order that she wants you to accomplish. So I'm going to open La Reina's orders here. And what she's going to do is she's going to give you a command that it is your duty to carry out. How you carry it out, there might be some leeway there. But here's how it works. You have to turn the prophecy that you had into a command that La Reina gives you. A couple of rules.
Oh my god.
So, yeah, exactly. It can only be one sentence, and you may not use the word and. The and is forbidden completely. Please.
That's a good rule.
Yeah. You may not use semicolons to extend your sentence. It's one sentence. Now, of course.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how many semicolons, M dashes, commas am I allowed?
You know we're a bunch of cheaters, Carlos.
Exactly. So basically, you're not allowed to use any and or any and equivalents, like no secret alsos or, other things that you can use to try to extend a sentence. Now, you all are fabulous writers, so there are ways that you can get around this rule, but we ask you to stick with the spirit of the rule. You want a simple declaration. You want to turn your prophecy into a simple declaration that makes it possible to accomplish. Like imagine when people give orders, they want them to be exceedingly clear. So you're going to try to follow that rule and say like, here's what La Reina wants to do. Now you can use the word or. You are allowed to use other conjunctions if you want to, but always in the spirit of a clear and concise order that she asks you to carry out. So we'll go again in the order in which these were declared, in which you gave your prophecies. So Cass, will start with you. You saw the return of plentiful larders, kitchens full and children's bellies just bursting with warmth. What does La Reina want you to do based on that vision?
Bring a rich vegetal feast to my wedding tables.
Bring a rich
Oh no.
vegetal feast in a country that has no vegetables to my wedding. That is a
Let our
terrific.
little speaker ran away.
I love it. Okay, that is a great, very difficult order. I love it. So next up we had Will. Will, all marriages of convenience tend to benefit both sides. And Ray Fernandez also mentioned that they don't have as many wizards. What does La Reina want you to do based on the vision that you provided?
I think Lorena wants to keep the upper hand in the amount of wizards she has. And so she is going to tell me to find and let's see how do we word this? Investigate the wizarding situation in the foreign court.
Okay. You will investigate the wizarding situation in the foreign court. That cover it?
Mm-hmm.
Great. So, next we have Anna, right? No, I think it was Brandon. Sorry. Brandon.
Yeah, I think
So-
it would be.
Right. So, you saw whether true love would persist or not, and the decision is bigger than them both. This is her true love. What does she tell you to do?
I feel like this is where this is the heavy part of our quest is going to be right here.
Oh no, yeah, this is gonna be terrible. Ensure under no circumstances that my true love learns that I am getting married today.
Oh,
Oh no!
under no
What?
circumstances can...
How am I supposed to do that? I've only seen the woman once, and I don't know where she
Queen is
is.
getting married.
Yeah, the queen is getting married. Like, that's a big deal. You want
We're
us to,
gonna
like,
have to lock this woman in a box for like 24 hours.
right. Like, how do we, like, you're asking us to maybe fake news a kingdom. Like,
Know her.
Fake news plot. Oh my gosh.
wait, did
It's like
you say
fake
that we're just
dating, but
going to kill?
reversed.
Yeah, we just kill her love interest, and then we fulfilled that because they never found out that Lorena was getting married.
Stop being so murder happy, Blake.
And
I didn't come up
finally,
with that. Cass did.
finally,
Don't blame me.
Oh, me, Pepe? No.
amazing, scary. Cannot wait to see where it goes. Marta, you saw a vision of bones being turned into dice, and that there is some manner of descent going on in the kingdom. What does Lorena tell you to do?
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to formulate a way to say this in one sentence.
Excellent.
I'm a writer. I can make sentences, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bold of you.
She tells us, find a way so that any game I play, I come out the victor.
That's a great sentence. I come out the victor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. These are fucking tough orders. I love it. Oh my god. Okay. We're saving them. Everyone, like, okay? Any last changes you want to make? All right, I'm going to take that silence as approval as I do in my classrooms. So, friends, these are the orders that La Reina sends you off right before the occasion of her upcoming marriage. We're going to use them as the win conditions. But before we do that, in the game, what we ask you to do at the bottom of La Reina's orders is to basically sign that you, with undying fealty, will sacrifice everything, even unto your life, in order to accomplish them. Whether you do or not, that's up to you. But to simulate that online, I'm going to ask us in order, starting with Cass and ending with Anna, to basically pledge your fealty to the accomplishments of these orders using whatever flowery language you would like to. Cass.
I think I just kind of miserably looks up to La Reina and goes, "Yes, boss."
Excellent. Will.
Thank you for the orders, my queen. As Baron and physician to the mighty kingdom of Espada, I will inform you that my loyalty to this country and to this kingdom is of my utmost priority.
Beautiful.
See, this is why I want to murder Blake.
But hold on, Blake did not commit his loyalty to Reina, but to the kingdom of Espada.
Tricky.
Yes, and traditionally, queen and country are seen as literally the same. It's why they say wait, so she doesn't suspect a thing. Perfect.
Yes, but I might kill her.
Oh yes.
Ooh, grand.
Brandon, yeah. What's your character say? Ernesto.
I hereby honestly commit to pursuing this task to the best of my ability, my queen.
Beautiful. And Marta, take us home.
I'm your lowly servant, and of course, any order that you give me, I will accomplish, of course, because you are my queen.
I love it. And with that, we finish our prophecies, and we now have a plot. Congratulations, everybody. We are now moving on to the role-playing portion of the game. This is where all of this is coming down. So, I'm going to move us there right now. And let me move you here also. So I have to move this little tab here as well. Okay, players. In front of you now, you should basically see the Sword of Doom. And below that, you'll see a string of orders. You'll see to the side a coin. Those of you who have backed us as an upgrade based on hitting one of our stretch goals, this coin is now going to be a metal coin. So thank you so much for your backing of us. We were able to hit that stretch goal. We're actually very close to our next stretch goal, which is an 8-page black and white comic book that tells the story of how aliens came to Espada. We're very close, and so we're hoping that we'll get to that point. Very, very happy to have hit all these stretch goals so far. And I'm going to explain how all this works. But below here, you'll see that Anna, you have a column, Brandon, you have a column, Cass, you have a column, and Will, you have a column, each with 3 cards, the protagonist, the NPC, and magic. So in the role play, this is how it works. We're going to play out a series of scenes based on the orders that you were given. Each of you is going to be the protagonist of the order that you're trying to accomplish. So, to win the game, you have to accomplish your 4 orders. That's what these order tokens represent. As they're removed, you get closer to victory. Once all 4 orders have been accomplished, these tokens go away, and you're very close to victory, or you've accomplished it. So if you remove all 4 orders, and each of you serves as a protagonist, plays an NPC, and uses your magic successfully at least once, you win the game. Standing in your way is a lack of success. So what happens is that when you are the protagonist of a scene, you have the option to use either your magic power or your wits in order to try to accomplish the goal of the scene that you set for yourself based on the order that you have there. As you do that, you're going to draw a card from Destino, and Destino will determine your success or failure. You have 4 cards on your character sheets, and we've seen those cards before. I can only see the back of them right now because of the stupid way that I set up Roll20, but you'll be able to turn them over. In fact, would you all try to just like flip card over? See if that allows us all to see them if I do that, because it'll just make it a little bit nicer. If you go into the little 4 above your name, and if you can try to flip those over, maybe that will work. That would be great if it did.
And Carlos, while they're doing that, I can show the comic book.
Oh yeah, please.
Oh, hello! Look, it's the backstory, origin story. So many beautiful illustrations. Oh my goodness. Oh, no spoilers. I can't tell you nothing.
Yeah, so Will, try to take that card back into your hand. I was going to say try to take it back turned over. See if you can do it that way and if I can see it. Now it still hides it. All right, we'll just have to trust that the players will not lie. Which they won't, of course. But what you'll do is...
You shouldn't trust us.
So what will happen is every time you test your wits or your magic power, you're going to draw a card from Destino. If it matches one of the 4 cards that you have in your hand on your character sheet, things go your way. Basically, the scene is accomplished. You get to narrate all the wonderful ways in which things work just as intended, and the scene resolves positively. So when that happens, then what you're going to do is you're going to basically take your order and we'll move right along. If the card doesn't match one of the cards that you have on your character sheet, a couple of things happen. First of all, this little coin here that's on start starts to move toward the hilt. And if you fail again, it moves again, and it moves again. And if you ever get buried to the hilt, everyone loses. Death, destruction, mayhem, carnage, all the horrible things. So this is a role-playing game you can absolutely lose. This is basically the TPK situation here. Moreover, when you move down the sword, the coin flips over. Now, the way that we're representing that on Roll20 is that we're using a separate coin, but on your coin, the back of it will actually say, "Ay, Diosa mia, a complication has emerged." And so what happens here is that before you can try to resolve your scene to actually accomplish your order, you have to tell us what complication has happened when your wits or your magic misfired. Something has happened that you didn't want to. You use the Destino card you drew to tell us what bad thing has gotten in your way. And then a character other than the protagonist will try to solve that problem so that then we can get back to it. Once the problem's solved, you flip back to this side of the coin and you can try to resolve the original order as intended there. So, each of you in a scene will have a chance to be a protagonist, but you have some other things that you'll need to do. Every player has to make up or use a current NPC that exists in the game in order to, basically accomplish their NPC goal. So what happens is I will, delete this once you get out of the way, and you'll see this NPC card that's crossed out. This is the back of the NPC card. But once you have played an NPC, then you have accomplished that part. You do not have to use your magic in order to solve a scene. Sometimes it makes more sense to just try to outsmart someone or punch someone in the face. Use something other than your magic. So basically, we call it wits, because basically you're thinking about something other than using your magic power. But you do have to use your magic at some point successfully. Using magic unsuccessfully, whether it's you're the scene or not, does move the coin down the sort of doom here. So you want to be careful about when you use your magic and when you don't, but everybody has to use their magic once at least and successfully in order to bring up the successful end game. One other thing that you'll want to know. let's say you've reached the danger token here, or the danger slot here. If you fail one more check of magic or wits, you're buried up to the hill, you'll all die. But there is a way to prevent it. You can activate your doom. So if you draw a card and it would move you onto the hilt of the sword, you can say, oh, I'm going to prevent that. I'm going to activate my doom. And in that moment, in that scene, your doom literally happens. Whatever you were fearing most in life, it happens in that moment, completely manifested and completely to your horror. You have to play with the consequences of that doom for the rest of the game, but you ain't dead. So remember, a doom cannot kill you. It's a fate worse than death. And you'll play with that for the rest of the game. When you activate your doom, you actually flip the card over. So that card is no longer available to you for future checks. So you'll have a base 3 cards rather than a base 4 cards in order to try to get future wits or magic checks to work out. But you will have saved the day for the moment anyway, and hopefully, you'll be able to draw better the next time, or someone else will draw, or we'll see how it plays out. I do think I forgot to mention one thing. Whenever you fail a check, you get to temporarily add that card. So let's say you have 4 cards, you draw a card from Destino, and it doesn't match any of them. Oh no, you move down the sword, but you temporarily add that card to your available ones. So if you fail 2 checks, you're going to have 6 cards on your sheet, making the next draw highly likely to have a match for you. All right, that was like a quick and dirty spill of many rules. Mostly what you need to know is that you're going to pick protagonists to try to solve their orders in an order that makes sense to you. I'll go ahead and put the orders back up for us to be able to read right now. And when you're the protagonist, what you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, here's what we're trying to accomplish in this scene. I have an idea. This is how we're going to try to do it. And you'll just map it out. And then everybody will say, okay, here's how I think I can contribute to the scene. Maybe your wizard's in the scene. Maybe they're not. Not every wizard have to be in every scene, but I would suggest having a couple of wizards around might make sense, just in case things go awry. If things go bad, we'll talk about how you can montage or cut or decide to reframe the next scene, but we can leave that to it. So first of all, players, any questions that you want to ask at this moment?
Not offhand. I'm sure they'll come later.
Yeah, and that's what I'm here for. I'm your rule book.
You're the living rule book. I was going to say you did a marvelous job telling the rules, but I'm sure in play you'll just have to refresh us when that is coming to happen.
Absolutely. So the first thing players to do is to imagine you 4 wizards conversing and deciding whose order you're going to try to accomplish first.
Vegetables.
I was thinking the same thing.
Pepe just kind of looks around for a minute. Well, at least a few of your orders will result in dead bodies, and that way I will have more vegetables?
That's a good point.
They're a very squirrely, slightly ferrety looking creature that's like slightly less than 5 feet tall. It's just very upset looking right now.
Pepe, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but mushrooms are not vegetables.
Well, actually, I love it.
Don't tell Reina then.
Are we concerned about whose dead bodies we're getting these mushrooms from?
Should say something about other wizards. We could use those bodies.
Don't be squeamish. Assistant.
Well, I mean, you know I have
Disgusting.
a pretty steady hand when it comes to wounds and
You
sewing
don't have
up.
a steady anything if you keep sneezing all over people.
I'm pretty good at timing, actually, the sewing between sneezes. I know when they're coming, I promise.
So, Cass, one of the things that you'll do in the scene is tell us how you're going to use either your wits or your actual magic powers to bring about this mushroom feast that you're planning. So I love that you're in character and you can definitely do that, but also, feel free to go out of character to tell us how you'll actually try to accomplish this scene.
Every other moment is just trying to convince other people to collect corpses for them right now. But I don't mind making her the protagonist for this current moment.
Can I
She,
say one
yeah,
thing
please.
first? Do we want to lock up or do whatever we're gonna do to the true love? Because that seems a little time sensitive.
Yeah,
But
that's time sensitive. We should probably
Yeah,
love first.
we should. I mean, at some point, we will have to very quickly deal with that problem. But we need to find her first,
So that
which
sounds
is the real complication that needs to be primarily resolved.
so. Brandon, that's your order. Do you have an idea of how you can find and possibly take care of this issue, either using wits or magic?
I mean, again, to find her first, I imagine that I should provide a sketch of the person that I saw and start asking around. Um, so that's gonna take a while. I'm open to doing that first if that resolves a lot of other things. Cool.
Really happy.
Okay.
I'm very curious to see if this is going in the abduct the true love direction or the fake news an entire country direction. We have some good
I
options.
mean,
One
we
of
only
those is
really
much
need to
easier than the
fake.
other.
I mean, we only really do need to fake news one person, and in a part of history without newspapers, that's very easy. So I mean, first I should draw her, just to confirm that, like, that I have a physical representation of her to share with other people. Should I draw a card for that?
Yeah. So before you do that, we'll want to give everybody else their roles of what you're going to do in this scene. So you're imagining you're going to go canvassing, right? You're going to go out into the world, showing this sketch of her and trying to find where she is. Is that correct?
Yes.
Great. So let's determine what everybody else is going to do, and then you could draw a card for fun, to see how well you draw the sketch or whatever. But the moment of crisis will require a card of wits or magic to see if this succeeds. So we'll get to that in just a moment. But Anna, Cass, and Will, you should all determine what your wizards are doing, and maybe you'll want to play some NPCs too.
How do we play an NPC again?
Oh yeah, so you basically just make one. So if you're like, I'm going to be a bystander that gets canvassed by Brendan's character, by Ernesto, then what we'll do is we'll make an NPC card for you, and basically you will decide what the person's name is. Their role in this case might be bystander, and then you'll draw a card for their personality.
Do we want an NPC for the true love?
I mean, almost. Yeah.
I think that Baron Landon, the alderman, Craglan Eastwood would want to go with Brandon to oversee this.
Great.
This sounds terrible. Fair enough.
Okay, so right, Blake will be along for the ride. Other wizards, will you be joining in this canvassing project?
Pepper definitely wants to help, possibly by convincing people's skin to let them know if they've seen the sketch.
Excellent. That might be a great magic check. So that would be another wizard on board. And then is Marta coming?
Sure. I can listen for voices of people who sound like they match what the sketch looks like.
And I'll just remind you, you can play your wizards and you can play NPCs in the same scene. So you can switch between characters and you don't have to decide now whether or not you're doing that. But the way that the next part works is that you actually do a set the scene. So in the physical game, there's a set the scene card that you pass around, sort of like the conch, and it gives you power of voice. We start with you, Brandon, and what you do is you tell us where we're located, like where is the scene taking place and what is actually happening. If you wanted to do a prelude to having you sort of like draw the sketch and things like that, that's fine too. If you were using that as a prelude, you wouldn't actually have to even draw. You could just dictate what that is. But you could draw just for fun to see how well of a job you do. And then we'll go in order. Brandon, then to Cass, Will, and Anna will go, and each of you will add a detail to the scene. So you're basically spilling out the setting. Feel free to tell us about your wizards, how they're feeling. Tell us about weird objects in the area or NPCs. Tell us about how things smell. Tell us about the atmosphere and the weather. Whatever you want to do to help us better picture and sense what's going on in the scene. So, Brendan, what is going on in the scene?
Mm-hmm. So, I think the place that this scene will be set is the castle courtyard, where like other members of the court, and rarely but not impossibly some other citizens typically gather, in the hopes that I will find someone who has like seen Lorena Resoluta outside of the castle mingling with anybody. And it's typically like not actually very full of people. Like a considerable amount of people gather here, but it's not like crowded by any means. So it does seem like a dozen people are milling about, watching flowers, talking amongst themselves, just kind of taking in the atmosphere. But on the day that we're having the conversation, it is heavily overcast. So it may rain at any moment, and a part of me is like, I feel like this is a sign of something. In a very pathetic fallacy sort of way. Maybe the rain is something.
Nice. Cass, tell us a little more about the scene.
I'm doubling down on the body horror of this version of Espada, and we're going to terrible places. Every castle courtyard requires its decorations, and unfortunately, in a land where foliage is rare, one makes do with what they have. And so those who have lost certain games with members of the court, possibly Ernesto, possibly Blake, even Martha, who knows, they are occasionally consigned to grow boxes outside of the lovely mullioned windows with the gorgeous lit light. Just a bunch of incredibly dehydrated people slowly dying in these large troghs with like very, very lovely looking mushrooms sprouting in aesthetic configurations out of their skin and their faces. Most of these, of course, are incredibly poisonous. Pretty mushrooms tend to be. But it is Espada, and it's been long enough that people are kind of used to it. So as the wizards wander around, you can occasionally hear a soft, tight from the beflowered people. And as everyone's trying to figure out where the hell that true love is, Pepe occasionally goes over and just pours a little bit of like a weird poultice on one or two of the half-dead garden folk.
Oh
and
my
it's
God.
back to see what the main conversation is having.
So
I said it make it worse.
that's so super dehydrated yet still alive people are basically turned into reverse Christmas trees where mushrooms, glorious and colorful, are growing out of them. Amazing.
Are they still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're being used not just for food anymore, but also for decoration.
Uh-huh.
That's great.
Wow.
That's not messed up at all.
It is important to note then that it does look like it's about to rain. So that's good. That's good.
Open your mouths, people. Oh my god. Will, you're next.
I'm sorry. What the hell?
Yep.
Okay, so there are decorative fungus people, and it is a little overcast. And those are the two other things that I've got to work with.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Cool, that's good. We are in Espada for this wedding, right? Like, did we establish that this is not us going to Ray Fernando's thing? So, what I would like to add here is that mingling in these mushroom people gardens are citizens of import from Ray Fernando's country.
Ooh.
And they are not going through as much of a hard time as we are here in Espada. And so part of them are watching the mushroom people in horror and disgust. And they have to be actually, some of them torn away because they are trying to help these people.
Oh no!
They're trying to depot them, as it were. And they have to be stopped by Espadan guards and explained that is inappropriate to try and remove them as like a cultural difference, and they just do not fucking understand at all. And some of them are trying to maintain their like court appearance of like, oh yeah, I didn't realize that about Espada, that they were so body horror, and some of them are like, we're out of here, like, we're peace, we got a jet, this is messed up. Yeah.
Aces.
Depot.
Depot the people.
Yeah. One of Claire's favorite word is deracinate, and I feel like they're being deracinated.
Deracinated. Sure.
Brandon.
Anna?
Oh, Anna, I'm sorry, wrong order.
Okay. So Brandon started us off.
Sorry, so sorry.
Okay. I don't even know how to follow this up. There's just so much. There's just so much, guys. Hey, Carlos, can I get a card off the top of the deck to inspire me?
I love it so much. This is something that you can do, everybody. Anytime, for any reason, ask the Deck of Destiny for inspiration. So, right off the top.
The deck knows.
It's going to give you the best one, Anna. The
It
best
did!
one.
Oh my god! It gave you the perfect courtier card. The people are suffering, should we not drink wine?
Oh my gosh, I love it!
What the...
Oh my god.
I love it!
Perfect.
Okay.
It's so ridiculous. This deck is ridiculous, people.
Okay. So...
I mean, look at the courtier on top of the bodies. It's so...
Yep.
Oh my god.
It's literally the perfect... Yeah, so... couple dozen people in this courtyard, getting a little rainy, Ray Fernando's courtiers kind of freaking out. Where is Ray Fernando from again? Is it Palea?
Pilea, yeah.
Palea? Okay. Sorry, Palea is the name of the place in my D&D campaign. Not Palea. Okay. Anyway, so okay. And off to one side is this, stand where, this person is selling drinks out to the masses of essentially wine, but it has been fermented from mushrooms, and so there is like a bit of a hallucinogenic vibe going on.
Yes.
And so these courtiers, they don't really know what to do with this situation, but they do understand drinking wine.
Wow.
So as this scene is kind of progressing, there's a bit of a drunken, frenetic, hallucinogenic, just aura over everything.
Amazing. Okay. And so, with that, we would begin the scene. So, Brendan, just right before we start, did you want to draw a card for fun to see how well you drew the sketch?
I do, in fact.
So
Do I draw it myself?
I think you could have. I'm so sorry. I've just been drawing
Oh,
for
it's fine.
expediency, but here's what you drew.
That is amazing for the Queen's lover.
Oh God.
This is hilarious in part because I do not have this suit.
Oh yeah. So this isn't a check though. This is just sort of like
cool.
what Anna
Okay.
did. So it's just to give you inspiration here.
Aha. I think. Hey, you know what would be hilarious?
What?
I think this card means I have drawn a portrait of this true love remarkably accurately, but in a pose and in clothing that she's never worn or been in before. So people are like, is this an artistic rendering? What am I supposed to get from this?
Right.
I've never seen this happen before. I've never seen someone wearing this before. Are you asking me about the clothing? Are you asking me if I've ever met a nun in the middle of the courtyard? No. So yeah, I feel like that's going to be very complicated as well.
Right.
Is it vintage clothing?
I think I draw her in nunnery vestments. I think like out of nowhere. Her face is incredibly realistic. Everybody I have drawn her as accurately as possible. But because of the nature of the vision that I got, I'm like, I guess she's a nun. I don't know if this confirms that she's a nun, but that's what I saw in the dream. So maybe someone can confirm for me or not, and that's throwing people off.
Amazing. So now you would begin the scene. Brendan, you would walk Ernesto around, have him do things. People, if he decides to speak someone and you need an NPC, someone jump in and make it. I will pull cards and be assisting. But Ernesto, the scene is yours.
So I think this is so dreadful. I think the first people that I speak to are the plants. I walk up to one of our mushroom decorations and go, I'm very sorry to trouble you in this moment while you're soaking up the sun, but I wanted to be sure in the event that you could verify something for me. Have you seen this young woman at any point around the court by chance?
This would be a great time for someone to jump in and be an NPC.
I will make an NPC if no one else wants to.
Do it.
Go for it, guys.
So, Cass.
You made your mushroom bed. Now you have
That's
to
right.
lay in your mushroom bed.
Somebody else has to do the name. I'm terrible at names.
So the role is definitely a mushroom tree person. So yeah.
You know, it'd be very morbid if they don't have names.
Pot number one.
Brandon, what the fuck?
Pot number one. That's how they're listed in the script, you know, in the credits at the end, anyway. And so here we go. Oh my god. Okay. So here we go. This person's personality, or inspiration for who this person is: to know another, forget the taste of fruit. Now eat fruit.
Oh. This mushroom person's like looking over at the other mushroom people like, you look good with some barbecue sauce.
Oh no! No!
So the
But they're poisonous.
mushroom person in question looks somewhat intoxicated. It appears to be a slightly older gentleman, and possibly in his 40s. What hair you can see under this mane of like long strings of purple mushrooms is graying. He has several of those same stringy mushrooms slowly growing out of an eye socket.
Ah!
And when he talks, his mouth is covered in polyps. But despite all of this, despite the fact he's slurring very slightly, you know, because his mouth is filled with mushrooms, he's like, she does not look not familiar, and just plucks one of the mushrooms out of his eyes and just kind of slowly chews. Purple sap begins down now. Reminds me of a girl I liked.
I see. To be sure, I don't think you're supposed to be eating those. I think those are for everybody else. But that's neither here nor there at the moment. Can you tell me more about this young woman that you liked?
He sort of breaks off more stems directly from the eyeball region and just holds it up to you when you say, "This is for everyone."
I'm good. I'm fine. I ate earlier today.
He goes back to like casually chewing on it, like, you know, it's a carrot stick. It's crunch, crunch, crunch. She was a student of mine. I remember. Frolic. He wanted to sing home what the hungry stars were like. A little bit of green pus has slowly joined the stream of purple that is just quietly trickling down his face.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Do you see?
Was this a student of yours here in the court or elsewhere?
Here, before I fell, I gave the queen a promise.
Ah, noted. Do you remember her name by chance?
So at this point, I'll just jump in as a rule book and say this would be the place where you would maybe make a check of wits to see whether or not you get an answer that is useful or good to you, because this sounds like the climax of the scene, right?
Yes.
So at this point, we'll draw a card, and Cass, you'll respond whether based on whether he's successful or not here. So, Brendan, do you have a carne card?
I do not.
So Cass, he did not succeed here. This is a failure. A couple things happen. I'm going to go ahead and move that coin down a little bit. And now a complication has emerged here. So something happens, maybe specifically to your character, Brendan, Ernesto. Something happens to Ernesto, but definitely things go so bad that it needs to be fixed before there's chance of resolving this scene. So, Brandon, you get to dictate, but Cass, you can certainly contribute if you want to. What goes direly wrong right now? And you can use this card to inspire you, remember? You've got skin as a coward here.
Mm-hmm. So the thing that stands out, which is particularly interesting because I didn't use my magic in this moment, but the context of this card fits very deeply with the consequences of my magic. So I guess I just kind of want to like briefly retcon that I did use a little bit of it in that moment as if to imply that they definitely could give me more information, only to learn that they couldn't. So I do think that something now happens visibly to my skin, that I now need to like actively treat in order to continue, but I can't imagine what it is yet. I mean, the other obvious thing is that in the process of like breaking all of these mushrooms, that some of their spores have gotten in or on me. But considering that I'm not wounded, we might have to be particularly specific about how.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you inhaled them.
Yeah.
Possible in his attempt to chew on his mushrooms. Pot number one overdid it a little bit. He just gives this like little lurch noise, and then again while you're asking the question, and just kind of vomits just this spew like black fungus onto you. Your face, your arms. This is a slightly beautiful, luminously indigo tint to the black, but otherwise it's just right up for Ernesto right now.
Now, Brendan, you get to decide if that's what you want to happen. It's your call.
No, yeah, this works.
Okay.
I am now severely poisoned. I immediately start to turn pale. My vision goes blurry. I start to become dizzy. I don't think I even hear what your answer to my question is. So I can't even confirm or deny whether you have actually given me valuable information. At some point I now need to return to you to ask this question again. But yeah, I am about to pass out, and I immediately leave the courtyard in search of Marta.
I think I've seen this before, but
out with it.
I think, doctor, if you will, I think in your bag you have a poultice that I mean, it does create rashes. I found that out. Don't ask me how. But I think that it might counteract this mushroom that is poisonous, that I also found that out a different... It doesn't matter. Time is of the essence.
Blake does wait until you're fully finished speaking and blank stare the whole time, and then opens his bag and pulls out, gives zero effort to finding the correct one, pulls whatever, like, you said poultice, and like he pulls out a rock, right? And like puts it on where the mushrooms are growing, like just kind of hits it. And but then also uses his magic to be like, you feel better.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Marta is like kneeling towards Ernesto, being like, he's the best. He's so good at what he does.
Okay, so first, Brendan, you're going to take the skin as a coward card and temporarily add it to your deck, or to the cards in your hand, because this card is now temporarily going to help you make checks in the future. So you've got that now.
Okay.
Excellent. So now we're going to check Will to see if whacking somebody with a rock can heal them of poisoning.
Not actually heal them.
Oh no, but by placebo
Just
effect. Yeah.
Yes, by placebo.
Well, do you have a Sangre card?
I do.
Okay, so tell us how you will see your true reflection in the edge of an axe manages somehow to make things work out okay for our poor Ernesto. I mean, look at those faces. Remember,
This is the perfect card for Blake to draw in an attempt to treat me. That's all
Yeah,
I'm saying.
I agree. So I'm seeing two people arguing here. And so I think what actually happens is, I kind of like press the rock up against the mushroom bits, softly, gently at first, and then kind of like hard enough that the mushrooms just come off. And while I'm doing that, I, under my breath, just kind of, I know that you haven't been impressed with my medicinal practice so far, but I assure you that I am a professional and do the best I can on every one of my patients. Backhandedly implying that I did not kill his family, which I did.
Which you did.
I don't know if he believes you.
I do not.
He
I say nothing.
100% does not.
I say nothing, but I do not believe you.
Nevertheless, believe or not, you do feel better. Like, placebo effect is number one, man. You are now able to continue and perhaps go back and talk to that person if you want to, or do whatever you want to. We can now continue with this order.
I will move this scene to someone else. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if you want to, you can basically say, we'll end the scene there and continue, but you'll still have your order to accomplish at some point. So, you could continue it now or decide, let's try something else or something.
Yeah, I will end the scene here.
Okay.
And get back to my order at a later point.
Okay. So, I will get rid of this. So at the end of that scene, no order was accomplished, but Cass, you've played an NPC. You can play some later also. This doesn't remove that ability, but you've accomplished that part of the task. And Will, you used your magic successfully, so you've accomplished that part of the task. In the meantime, you all should regroup and decide which order you're going to try to accomplish now. And I'll reopen the orders here so you can see them in the top left corner.
So I'm curious on your guys' thoughts. I feel like Lorena should have some sort of high stakes game involved in the whole wedding ceremony that we're trying to address here, but I'm not quite sure what it should be. You look like you have a thought, Cass.
What if human chess?
At some point in our lives, we all ask ourselves, what if human chess? Okay. So, part of Pelea's marriage traditions, is to have this kind of like fun, everyone gets involved, little, human chess game that's just like you all stand on the board and you all like, the two people getting married are like the king and queen, and then their bridal party are also players and stuff like that. So that is normal and fun. The stakes are a little bit higher here in a Spada because it's a Spada.
Yep.
So we know that this game is going to be played as like a nod to Pelea's traditions. And we have to figure out a way to stack this game in a way that Lorena will win, meaning she has full control over Ray Fernando, which has some interesting marital implications.
So, and Anna, since you're the protagonist, do you have an idea of how your character can use wits or magic to accomplish that very thing?
So, I have an idea for wits, which is, I think if we get Ray Fernando and his courtiers very high on mushroom line, they're not going to be very good players.
I mean, it's the classic. Ply 'em with wine. Excellent.
Yep.
Okay, so you're imagining in this, or where would you like to locate it?
I think after they kind of pass through the courtyard, they get set up in kind of a wing of the castle that is kind of like where their rooms are, and they probably have some nice sitting rooms and stuff. So I think we need to find the party and get ourselves in there and get them some of the strong stuff.
Okay, so that's what your scene is going to be. Other wizards, what will you be doing? Will you be present? Will you not be present? Do you want to play an NPC? Do you know already? Anything like that?
I am going to play an NPC.
Great.
I'm going to play the True Love.
Ooh, okay.
Oh no.
Who is one of the drunken chess people.
Wait.
And she thinks that she's just at a party. As far as she's concerned, she's just at a party.
Excellent. So do you have a name in mind?
Is she part of Pelea's crew that came in?
No.
Or is she is from the castle? Okay.
She is someone from the castle who just thinks that there's a party going on.
Awesome. Do you have a name idea?
I am going to poke a wound in Ernesto, and the True Love is actually named Clara, just like the sister of Ernesto's that I killed.
Oh.
Amazing. And let's draw a card.
I love it so much. Oh my gosh.
So here is the card that we've drawn to give us a little insight into Clara. All history will be lost to the unremitting snow.
Oh.
Oh no.
So, Clara 2, to distinct from Clara, Ernesto's sister, Clara 2 is actually the court historian.
Uh-huh.
And she has a hidden forbidden love with La Reina because they met through being in court together. The thing is that Clara 2 is also just an ice cold like CEO type. She loves La Reina, obviously, but treats she has that hard line of, hey, we're at work, we're in the bedroom, we're out in the she's got it all figured out, hard boundaries everywhere, and does not give a shit about anyone. She is just cold-hearted.
Is she here to shut down the party?
No, she's here. She's doing her courtly duties. of participating in a social event.
So I'm just going to remind everyone that one of the orders was to make sure that Clara too never learned of this marriage.
Yep.
So here
Correct.
she is, and you're going to play her, and that's great. Just saying. Okay, so you've got Clara 2 set up for you well. That NPC is ready for you to go. And then we just need to know what other people are doing in the scene.
Well,
You know what would
I.
be terrible?
Oh no. I'm scared.
If someone played Lorena here.
Yeah, that NPC is ready to go. Anybody can play her.
Oh God.
Because they're in the same room and a thing is happening in the court doesn't mean Clara learns that a wedding is about to happen. It just means that they're in the same room.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna hold on to that for now.
Okay.
She may not appear in the scene, but if she does, I would like to play her.
Okay.
Is your wizard gonna be here?
Nope. I'm still recovering from poison. I feel
That's
better, but I've
true.
still been poisoned.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I think I kind of like made sure you were like resting in bed and maybe got you some actual medicine and then was like, all right, Queen's orders. And I'm like, oh, clock is ticking on this game that I know is about to progress. So I have obtained some wine, and I have obtained some particularly effective mushrooms and combined them, and I am heading towards the party.
Okay.
Pepe is just following along with an armful of basically like headdresses. Because if you're going to play human chess, one side has to be one color and one side has to be the other.
Right.
And
Right.
the goal is to quietly go after the drunkest people and go, man.
Yeah. Maybe this is like they're all outside of the room. I'm retconning a little bit. They're all outside of the room that they'll be walking into to play the human chess.
Exactly.
Okay, so if they're all outside of the room, I have to make sure that the right people drink the wine.
Right.
Oh, this is going to be a lot trickier.
So at this point, that's a great way to set the scene, and we can use that, Anna, as the scene that you set. Like everybody outline, you grabbing your head, going, "This is gonna be harder than I thought." And then maybe Cass, if you will contribute to the scene at this point.
Are we outside a building or outside a room? Are we in a corridor?
I was thinking we're inside and we're like standing outside of the like doors to the grand hall, where this will be played.
There are a lot of tapestries across the walls depicting surprisingly cheery scenes and just shades of lush velvety reds and oranges. And there are a bunch of whatever medieval waiters would dress in, just walking around with little trays full of suspicious looking canapes, distributing it among the guests. It's quite a cheery atmosphere.
Love it. Will, do you want to contribute to the scene?
No, I'm good. I've already contributed enough to this scene.
Oh, it's more like just like some kind of description or something. So not like you have to do anything, but just like describe something.
Sure. So the here we go. The floor where they have added in the checkered chess board is actually black and white dyed funky. So you step from the floor onto the black and white checkered funky, which is like roughly person shaped.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
It's like an anti-fatigue mat. You could
Yeah,
just play for hours.
yeah.
Wow. The anti-fatigue mask is people. Oh my gosh.
Soylent Green is people.
Brendan, what would you like to add to this macabre and macabre scene?
God, what do mushrooms need to grow? Aha.
Dampness.
And is what I was thinking of. In an attempt to keep those tiles, those fungi tiles fresh, there is like a large crowd of attendants to the queen, whose job it is to just infrequently walk up to tiles and mist them with like small watering cans. So the room is already kind of cramped with people because people are literally leaning on all of the walls, waiting to notice whether they think that mushrooms are like slowly like wilting or becoming broken. So they just walk up to a tile and just spritz, 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 and then go back to their positions. This is terrible.
Oh, I love it. Anna, it's March's scene.
All
What
right.
happens?
So, I carry in a tray of glasses, and I'm doing my best to like appear waiterly. And I am like walking around trying to like target the people who should drink the wine, and then like rudely turn away anytime someone comes to pick something off the tray that I know is from Espada.
Mm.
And so I'm like doing this like dance of like trying to get the wine to the right people.
Yep. So as you're doing this, who gets wine?
Let's find out.
So do you want to draw a card for that?
Let's draw a card for it. I assume this is my wit check.
Yes, just to see
Right?
if you manage to get the right cups into the right people's bodies. Here you
Yeah,
are.
I think that would be. Oh no.
I mean, the deck kind of knows what you need, and
Uh-huh.
do you have a Westwood there? Do you have a?
I do not.
But look what's happening.
not.
Okay, so mechanically, what happens is we move down to caution. A complication has emerged in that wit check, and Anna, what goes severely wrong?
Well, Marta is not the most like confident person. And so I feel like she's like trying to keep the wine away from the Espadans, and they're just like not paying attention.
Oh dear.
So everyone's drunk now. Like very drunk.
Oh no.
To the point that I'm not sure anyone can even actually play the game.
Uh-oh.
And so everyone's like stumbling over to the chessboard, but they're not like taking positions or anything. They're just kind of like giggling and falling over and, you know,
Yeah.
doing their own thing.
I mean, Brendan, if you were looking for a chance for Reina Resoluta to come in,
No, I was about to say the same. Just when it is obvious that no one can play the game in this state, that is when Lorena Resoluta finally appears.
Oh, wait. Oh, dang it. I was going to have Clara 2 leave at this point.
oh, okay, you can do
You
that.
still want to leave? You still want to leave because that's gold.
Yeah, well, okay, so Clara 2, realizing that this game can no longer be played because of how drunk everyone is, and herself just a little tipsy because she imbibed just enough to appear social to her court mates, and she frustratingly leaves the chessboard, carefully stepping off of the fungi sponge tops, and brusquely pushing her way through the crowd to leave the area, and she picks up a drink off of the platter that Marta has, and just leaves in a huff.
Excellent. That counts as playing an NPC, so we're going to take that off for you. And then, Brandon, if you wanted to pick up with Reina.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know who else would be there is Ray Fernando. So, maybe he should come in at this point. Hey, Brandon, do you want to play a different set of lovers?
Oh God. This is also juicy. So Reina walks in and sees this crowd of stumbling folks who should have been prepared for a game, or at least the rehearsal of a game at this point, and immediately steps up to you.
Me, Marta?
Yes, Marta, yes.
Okay.
Marta?
Your
Would you like to explain why there are dozens of obviously intoxicated strangers in my court?
Oh, okay. So, Marta just wants people to take her seriously. She doesn't want the queen to know how bad she did. She wants to lie. She is holding a tray full of drinks, so that does make it harder to lie. And so she's gonna take another tact lying and go, "Oh, I thought that everyone would enjoy some beverages, but it appears that someone has poisoned them."
And there's at least one missing.
Right, there's a piece
missing. Drinks?
Yeah, because Clara...
I mean, there's a lot missing. Everyone took some, or lots of people took some.
More than enough people probably literally still have goblets in their hands at this point.
Yeah.
So,
poison, you say? Salud.
Yeah, I don't know. There must be someone plotting evil around here, because
are you not in my employ to ensure that that is never the case?
Oh no.
Lorena's here to fuck shit up.
Lorena is okay.
So other wizards who are present can help to resolve this complication that is clearly escalating quickly. So I'm just putting that out there that usually it's some other wizard who resolves it.
I think Blake is gonna come in and throw Marta just clear under the bus.
No, Marta! She's trying so hard!
So when Blake hears the line, aren't you in my employ to keep me safe, or however that line went, Blake comes up and looks at Marta and is like, "You're a disappointment."
Ooh.
Okay. Okay.
Ben,
Yes, Cass.
uh, Pepe, who has completely given up figuring out whose head needs a specific gear and has just left a pile of hats in a corner, just runs the tree. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Because, their bestie is in trouble. And they're like, well, actually, what Marta is trying to say, I think I'm going to have to pull a wits card for this probably,
Yeah.
is that looks frantically over at Marta. She's coming up with a new game, a game of higher stakes. We're going to see who survives drinking the poison. Yes, but that's the fiction behind the game. That's what she's talking about.
Okay.
You
You see, you see, Your Majesty. It's a murder mystery.
Yes. Lots of nodding.
Yeah. Okay,
A
so
murder mystery.
A mystery I know you can solve, because who would win better than Your Majesty?
so Anna, take the card.
Okay.
What are your organs plotting into your hand? If you right click
Okay.
it, you can grab it. That will help you in future checks. And once you do, I'm going to draw a card for Cass's character Pepe, and see if this matches one of the cards in your hand. Do you have a Hueso card?
No.
Oh no! Oh
I
my
have
god!
one now.
Wow. Okay, so the complication stays. We actually move on to the danger here. The complication has
no.
not been resolved yet. But Cass, things now also go bad for Pepe, because inaction is the death before death, as you can see clearly here. What happens?
Huh?
This is a lot.
So a freckling, I think, of mouths begin to open along the arm of a nearby courtier. And just in deep, well, no, in very light, high-pitched chorus goes, "No, you're lying. That was never a plan." It just goes,
Cass, go ahead and take that card into your hand. And now, Anna, you're actually able to help because the last failed check was Pepe. So you're back in a position where you can help, just like someone other than the person who last failed tries to resolve the complication.
Okay.
Blake is going to come and steal some thunder.
This is why we all want to kill Blake.
Yes, Your Majesty, this was a plan of ours, and my assistant Martha and I have been planning this game for a special surprise for you, because we know exactly what brings warmth to your heart, and we know how much you love games. And then Blake completely abandons the idea of a murder mystery and instead describes checkers.
Which even drunk people can play.
Which even people can play.
Amazing. Let's see if it works. Here's your complication check. Do you have a Hueso card? Wow, we're drawing Hueso.
Oh.
Oh no.
I do not.
Okay, so first of all, your luck is extraordinarily bad, players. This is pretty bad. Right now, what would happen
Is it puppy time?
The game would end in total wreckage and disaster unless somebody activates their doom now.
All right, let's give Claire what she wants.
So, Will, is that meaning that you're gonna do yours?
Yeah.
Okay, so remind us what's your doom.
Um, should I just describe what happens?
Well, what you should do is just remind us just what it says on your sheet, and then tell us what
Gotcha.
happens.
So what it says on my sheet is that a massive cosmic-sized dog monster invades the planet and curses me with the inability to speak or understand anyone ever again.
So what happens?
So what happens here is in the distance, in the sky, it is. Brandon described it as overcast earlier. Instead, it's not actually overcast. It now appears as though something is coming towards the planet. And it is so massive in size that it appears overcast because it is blotting out the sun.
Oh
my God.
Ye gods.
As it approaches, you see the face of a dog, and it is almost like dog-human hybrid. And instead of being fully hound-like, it is closer in resemblance to the face of Anubis.
Mm.
And Anubis dog, cosmic-sized thing, approaches as though, doggy paddling through space towards us, and lets out what it probably considers to be a light yowl, but because of its size is so incredibly loud, it is more similar to thunder. And with that, it brings Blake to his knees and almost to tears because of the pain that he's in. And everyone else hears the thunder, but hears it as just thunder. Whereas Blake is bleeding from the ears, and little sprouts of mushrooms start populating from inside his ear canal out of his ears. And he can no longer hear or understand any form of communication.
Yes. Yes.
Whoa. So, Brandon, the Queen just witnessed that.
Indeed, she did. Because the thing that strikes me as interesting in this moment is I think the Queen is not surprised or frightened or otherwise moved by the scene, just very annoyed.
That the dog is stealing the thunder of her wedding.
Okay. I think Marta sees her opportunity. And she's going to go, apologies,
Salud.
my queen.
Salud.
Thank you. I don't want to create any sort of ill will or anything, but I think I may understand what's happening here.
Oh?
You see, I wasn't sure until now, so I didn't want to say anything, but I saw the royal physician harvesting a certain type of mushroom earlier today. A quite potent type of mushroom. And I assumed he had his reasons, but I think that he may be the one responsible for poisoning these glasses, and
Salud.
This condition of his may be
Salud. Would you like to finish this sentence, please?
Sorry, I'm trying my best. The results of him harvesting that particular mushroom.
To see if this works, we'll draw a card for you, but will please take Dashed Upon the Rocks Mended with Gold into your hand. It will help you in future checks. Once you take that card, I will draw one for Marta. Marta, you have 5 cards now.
Okay.
Is Ryan
Oh my
among them?
god!
Is it not?
No.
Well, that's going to activate That's going to activate another Doom or death.
Oh my god.
Your luck is extraordinarily bad. I mean,
every game begins on 1, so you think the game is telling us something. Okay, I can activate mine.
Okay.
If that's what we're vibing. My doom is that my family tree will haunt me. I will shoulder the failings of my ancestors and will be responsible to absolve those sins for my descendants. So, what I was thinking is that I might empower you good people to draw from the deck whenever you feel like it to come up with a sin that I'm inheriting that I will then have to deal with.
Oh my god.
How does that sound to you?
Good.
Yeah? I mean, it sounds terrible for you, but it sounds very entertaining to the story.
Yeah, I think it will be fun, and please don't hold back on these sins.
This is an amazing mechanic you just invented. I love it so much.
I'm kind of like, I'm picturing it's like all of these ancestors I've had who also had this condition, and all of the monstrous stuff they did to try and get rid of it. And now all of that is coming to me.
I love it. So Anna, take this card into your hand. It will help you.
Okay.
At least it should help you in future checks. With your luck, I'm not sure.
You think?
But
Marta doesn't have a lot going for her right now.
right. But so what happens like in situ? Like what happens in the scene itself? So like that mechanically we know what you want players to do. What happens right now?
So I think that like she is like trying to get this lie out, and it took her so long to get through the sentence because she is like having this sneezing fit through it that is like, and as she's having this sneezing fit, you're just seeing all of these like essentially like ghosts, these wraiths coming at her from all of these different directions and just like impacting her and going into her body. And so she like doesn't finish her lie of trying to throw Blake under the bus. And I think she should take some sins now to see what happens. Does anyone want to do it?
Sure. So I definitely want to draw one because I think Reina is going to respond by essentially bringing one of those up.
Amazing. So here's Brendan. Here's the sin for your draw. It's another Weso card. Probably good to get that out of the deck.
These bones are coming to get us.
Runes are runes for a reason. It's a great card for this.
Oh my. So, in the interest of making La Reina Resoluta seem as like visibly despotic as possible, I'm literally imagining that in the vein of like how modern interpretations of the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland have her holding a staff with a heart for a head. La Reina Resoluta has like a small staff with like the head of the staff in this like large golden like sculpture in the shape of a spada. Not the shape of Rota, just the shape of a spada with the sharp, like almost bladed edge to
I
the
love
right of
it.
it. And she uses the staff to lift your head up towards her and says, "You and your accursed Torres family have made it so difficult for me and my kingdom to be in the state that it should be. I should never have trusted you to be one of my mages. You, among all of the terrible decisions that your family has made, has perhaps been the worst in the history of my reign, and I should, in this moment, find all manner of terrible decisions, terrible things to do to you. But I will give you at least this moment to clean this entire room and get out of my sight before any further calamity befalls this wedding. Take all of these babbling fools out of this court this instant before I have cause." And she turns the staff to you, and you can like feel the sharp edge of the right hand of the staff against your cheek. "Before I see you again."
Ooh.
And then she just
that's so
storms
good.
out.
That's so good. Okay, so
Ugh.
I am taking on the sins of my ancestors and their failures to resolve former queens and kings' orders.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, yes, of course, anything to make it better. And I get on my hands and knees and I'm like, sorry, Pepe, as I use like the sleeve of my shirt that she made for me to like wipe up the floor.
Shall we see how effective it is? Because you still have to get rid of this complication.
I know.
This is amazing. Do you want to see if this works?
I have 6 cards now, guys. I
Oh.
better succeed.
Okay.
Okay.
So here we go. It's a Hueso. I think
Yes.
you have a Hueso now.
I have it because it's what started this whole bad chain reaction.
This deck is doing something.
I mean,
Okay.
they're not in order. This is totally random, everybody. It's just bizarre that we're getting this ton of Hueso cards. But now, okay, so just mechanically, we remove the complication. So now the scene could try to resolve. Anna, all the cards that weren't originally part of your character, the 4 cards that you used to make your character, those get discarded. So if you put them up here, then I will, basically discard them. But now the complication is resolved. How do we get rid of this complication?
Okay, so the 2 cards I drew, it's
That's
the ones
right.
I'm discarding.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I think that I am like there is just like wine on the floor and like all sorts of like, just mess everywhere. And people have like had canapes and stuff that they've like stepped on, and so it's gotten into the grooves of the tiles and stuff. And so she is gonna take some of one of the misters from one of the servants and like wetting the floor and using her sleeve to try and wipe it up, and she's using her fingernails to try and get in between the cracks of the tiles to kind of clean the area. And she does that for a while until it's clean.
Yeah, it's working. She's full of mushroomy goodness under her nails, but it's working.
Yep.
So at this point, you can decide to like end the scene and try again somewhere else, or you can keep trying to resolve the order of
Oh my God.
the reign. Trying to do it. So your decision, Anna. You're the one in charge right now.
Okay. Okay. Here's what she's gonna do. She's gonna spend, an hour or two cleaning this floor. And and as she does it, she's like, okay, sorry, it's taken me a second to formulate this thought. She sets up like a very simple game in the into the where the chessboard was.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think of something that's like a little bit dexterity based. She comes to the queen and she's like, haha, the game is actually going to be dodgeball now. We're going to play dodgeball. And what she has done is like kind of messed with the checkerboard on Ray Fernandez's side so that his group is going to be on essentially like less stable ground than the queen's. And I'm just like, I fixed it. It's all clean. And also, I got a game ready, and I know that everyone isn't quite like everyone's had like 2 hours to sober up. So she's like, I know people aren't like maybe in a space to really do some like high intensive kind of chess. So I thought instead maybe just like a little game of dodgeball, which I hear they really like in Halea. I thought that might be a good alternative. So I've set that up, and I've got the balls, and also I think that you'll be very happy with the court, and I think that your team is very, very, very likely to win. Achoo.
So, Brendan, are you still playing the queen at this point?
I am.
I couldn't tell because you didn't say salute.
Yeah.
So I think, like this entire time, she's just kind of like staring daggers at you.
Uh-huh.
And doesn't respond at all to anything else that you say, just kind of like staring, and then just for like several beats is still staring at you silently, and then goes, "Don't ruin this for me."
Yes, Your Majesty.
And then just ushers you out of her physical space.
Awesome. Let's see if you ruined it for her. Drawing a card.
If this is...
So this is it. This is to determine whether, wits or in this case it would be wits. Anna, with the 4 cards you have, I think you just got rid of your Hueso, didn't you?
I did.
Oh my god.
I mean, I've never seen this many Huesos in a row. This is, like, incredible.
I'm, like, honestly okay with it because Marta is, it aligns with Marta's character.
Oh, wow.
So, we have
Fields only delay the inevitable. Okay.
So...
I have an idea for how this would happen.
So what happens, though, you can move on to danger with a complication, but you actually don't get a new complication. You just try to resolve the scene at this point. And
okay.
So, once you're in danger, you don't add any new complications. You do, however, suffer the consequences of somebody having to activate their doom. We have 2 left.
I can activate mine.
Poor Pepe has not done anything to deserve their doom. What happens, Cass?
Oh, Pepe.
Bye-bye, Pepe.
Pepe is fairly functional. It's just that Pepe, who is just trying to help Martha along the corners, just cleaning and just setting things up with very well-meaning cinnamon roll self. At some point, just sort of looks around in slight confusion and then tilts their head. It's like, oh no. Just wide eyed, turns back and stares at Marta and just whispers, I think it's happening. And that is all poor Pepe manages to say before their hands go to their face and very carefully just go, this is a wet rip of flesh. And it's just your face. Somehow the eyeball's still attached, although one of them appears to be chattering on about gossip that it heard in the kitchen. And the body just continues what's doing, but it's just holding Pepe's face there at the side, like a little clutch back. And Pepe is like, will you make sure you can get that side? No, that side. No, yes, I heard what you said about the gossip, but we do need to help Marta finish cleaning this out. Could you turn me around? Thank you. And Marta and they just go back to the horrible situation that they're now in.
Wow. Anna,
Yeah.
you can take that card there, Shields Only Delay the Inevitable, and add it to your thing. And you can try again. you can literally
Wanna.
just like you can end the scene if you like. This is enough horror for one scene, or you can just. I mean, there's no complication once you get to this point, so you can just try again.
So if I end the scene and it is not a success.
There's one more doom that can block it, but then so you're 2 away from ultimate death.
Yeah. Right. So I think I kind of like I'm getting Pepe and just kind of like ushering them away to like, okay, we'll deal with this later. I don't know how. Somehow, so I think the dodgeball game happens, and like I thought I was so clever trying to make the terrain more difficult for Ray Fernanda, and it doesn't do anything, and Paleo wins the game.
Oh, okay. But well, what I'm saying is, you actually don't have to go that far because there was no complication.
Okay.
So you can actually you can do that if you want to, but like because there's no complication at this point, you can basically just try again to make the check and succeed. It's just we saw the doom happen, and now you can do that. But you get to do whatever you want. Okay. If you want Paleo to win, more power to you.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they get halfway through the game, and that's when Pepe's thing happens, and everyone gets so distracted that the game doesn't even finish.
Oh. Okay. Do you want to try?
And then we can end there.
End there. Okay, yeah. So that's a scene.
No, I'm not gonna. I don't want to be driving this car anymore.
I mean, I've seen some terrible luck, and I've seen some great luck, and this is the worst luck I've ever seen. Like that string of disasters. I'm glad we have it on video. Wow, what a ride! So
yeah,
I will open the orders again. Who would like to try to resolve your first order? Oh my god!
Me.
Okay.
I'm gonna drive this shit into the ground. Ready? We're about to light all of this on fire.
Okay, so your order was
to investigate the foreign wizard situation.
Okay, all right. And what is your plan for doing this successfully?
Very poor is what the plan is. So, see, what happens is Marta is like, oh, let's play dodgeball or whatever. And Blake is like, I don't hear anyone talking anymore. No one has communicated. No one said anything in a couple minutes. And so I'm going to leave and I'm going to go investigate. And Blake moves away with authority from the game situation. And as he is exiting the area, he sees Ernesto and he thinks that he says out loud, "Hey, I'm gonna go see how many wizards they brought with them and see if we can like network, you know." But since he can no longer communicate or understand anyone, what comes out is um, and he like taps Ernesto on the shoulder and then walks away. He does not wait for anyone to respond because he's that pompous. And he goes to find like Ray Fernando's like right hand man, whom I'm assuming that I would just probably be able to recognize through like social graces or something like that, existing network.
Sure. Sounds like an
And
NPC.
he goes up to this person and thinks that he says, "Hey, I was hoping to just get to know some of your wizards and like have a friendly chat, so that we can, you know, unite our visions." And instead, what comes out of his mouth is mushroom, 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 fungus, mushroom, fungus, mushroom, fungus, mushroom, fungus. And that is the moment that he realizes that Blake does not participate in conversation. Instead, he waits to hear what other, like he is like listening but not hearing when people talk to him, and instead just has his response prepared already, because he doesn't fully consciously realize that this person says something back to him, then he just cannot understand at all.
Wow. Okay, so that's the setup for the scene. Are other people following Blake?
I am definitely following. This gives Ernesto great joy.
And,
To be sure, even though I feel better, I am still visibly poisoned. And I am, like, the thing that makes me feel even better is the idea that I get to see Blake embarrass himself in front of foreign dignitaries.
Pepe would try to follow, but I think it depends on every other wizard. If you would like a faceless wizard holding your own face to come with you, okay to being shoved into a room and told to stay there.
Amazing.
So,
I mean, we couldn't stop you.
NPC here. My wizard is not here because she's cleaning the floor.
Right.
Okay.
So you could
But
play
wait,
the NPC,
so-
though, yeah.
Pepe's coming along, just holding her face like her handbag.
So you're
Anna.
trying to figure out if there are other wizards here,
Yeah.
essentially, right?
Yeah,
Talking
we
to
kind
the-
of.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Carlos.
I was just saying, he's talking to the right-hand man specifically.
Yeah, to try and figure out who on their side is a wizard so that I can fulfill my order.
Okay, so this is Ray Fernando's right-hand man. Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. I will play him. So I think we need a little NPC.
On it. So the role is easy. Ray Fernandez, NPC. Do you want to give this person a name?
Sure, his name is Jack.
Jack. The
Get basic.
yeah, exactly.
The pumpkin
Jack,
tree.
the NPC.
Yeah, right hand man is what I meant right there. Right hand man. And that takes a hyphen. And here's a card. This is the type of
Okay.
person that he is. Hey, it's not a Hueso. Awesome.
Hey,
God.
could have used that earlier.
Yeah. So what's this person like?
Every discovery. Well, there's the tentacle guy again. I think so. like the vault of secrets. He knows everything going on everywhere, and he keeps it all in his brain, dealing, his trade is information. He's essentially the spy master. And so he is like very quiet, always taking in information and like only doling out information when he sees a great reward for it.
In information and giving out information only when there is a great reward. All right, that's Jack the Spy Master. We'll save those changes, and yeah, so we know what everybody's doing. We'll just set the scene quickly here. Will, tell us something about the place where you find Jack the Spy Master.
It's the bathroom.
Great.
So Jack is standing at the urinal.
Yeah, and Blake is like behind him, like doing the uncomfortable thing that you should never do. And talking to Jack at the urinal.
Great.
But Blake also, because of his inability to understand or communicate, doesn't really get anymore that this is uncomfortable.
Did he ever, though?
Probably not.
I am picturing Jack as someone with like a lot of composure, and you've immediately broken it. He's like,
beautiful. Brandon and Cass, please add just like a little detail to the scene.
Oh, yes.
I would like to go first.
Go.
The urinal and all the facilities are made out of solid gold with very ornate bordering. So a little bit extra, just a bit.
Love it.
The Espadan Urinals del Oro.
Wow.
Oh my god. How do I make that even more awkward? So the urinals in particular are not merely urinals. They're large golden busts of the head of former Palaean kings.
Oh my god! Amazing.
They've been there since before our current queen became queen. She actually finds all of that very garish, but she doesn't have to use these facilities, so it doesn't matter to her.
Incredible. So, Will,
Fabulous.
it is now Blake's scene. What happens?
I didn't expect to get this far, I'll be honest. What does Blake do? Blake...
Remember, you can use your magic, too.
So here's the thing, is that I've entwined them together, so the Doom and the magic so tightly that, because he's communicating, he's influencing the dreams and stuff. Here's what I think happens, is Blake has waited for a pause a few times now, realizing that his mode of communication is not to actually listen to people anymore. But the third time that this happens, where there's a pause and he doesn't hear anything, he starts to get like frustrated, like he he's being ignored, and so he like grabs Jack by the shoulder and like mid. Well, he doesn't know that. He can't. He doesn't know. And pulls him back.
Oh God.
With like very frustrated, and is like, you know who I am. I will not be ignored, and uses his magic power to influence Jack into being maybe like a bit more friendly or like open, without realizing the whole time that Jack is probably talking to him, and like he just doesn't know that. But when he continues after yanking Jack, he continues to not hear anything. He is like any one note man. His predilection is to become angry, and so he beats the shit out of Jack.
Well, let's see how well that goes for him. This plan of action. So you try to use your magic, but really it's the beating the shit that's the check. Is that right?
Yeah, correct.
So this is a wits check.
Wits.
And oh my God, do you have a Weso?
I do now. Yes.
You do now, meaning you don't have one in your hand?
No, I do. I got one from my last failure.
Oh, from your last failure, right. Okay. Wow. Okay. So this somehow is going to result in you getting the information that you need. I cannot wait to see how you spin this, Will, so that this works out for you. And remember, Anna, just you're playing this character.
To be sure as well, just to qualify, you also cannot comprehend human language.
I cannot comprehend not just human language, but like body language or anything like that. Written language. No, I cannot understand people.
Yeah.
This is
okay,
but this works out. Like according to the mechanics, you get what you want. How?
Okay, I have an idea. If that would be helpful, Will.
I've got this.
Okay.
I've got this. But what I would love is to hear you as Jack. Like what is Jack's? Because I'm telling this from Blake's point of view, where he does not hear or understand anything that Jack may or may not be saying. So I would love, from the moment of peeing, what is Jack actually doing and or saying to Blake?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you found Jack's weakness, which is that he is a shy peer. So halfway through, he does give up and zip himself up. So we are avoiding a very messy bathroom here.
Mm-hmm. Also, good world building that we now know that Espada has zippers.
It's very advanced. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's just like, I see. It seems that you have something you're trying to tell me, but I'm afraid I don't understand. And like that is how he's like trying to come at this in a very like composed way, but it is like immediately breaking down because Blake is acting wild. So
yeah. Okay, so then I punched Jack in the face, and which causes him to pass out.
Oh,
he is unconscious. And Blake gets the bright idea, because anyone in the situation of being in a restroom at a public gathering where you have beat the shit out of someone would know that his first instinct is to hide the body. So he pulls Jack up and like hides him in one of the stalls so that he won't be noticed. And in doing so, also pats Jack's like cloak and ornate courtly draws, and he finds a list of um, what is a list of the wizards from the Pelean court and the responsibilities they have been delegated during the wedding. And all that Blake sees is mushroom, 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 mushroom. And so he balls it up and stuffs it in his pocket.
Sure. you can actually spin out the scene a little more. Like, do you want to have conversations with other wizards? You want to show something? Like, you can keep going if you want to, but you can also just end it right there if you want.
So what happens is, I'm assuming that Ernesto or someone, for the love of God, has followed Blake into the bathroom and watched him beat the shit out of this poor gentleman.
Mm-hmm. I saw the whole thing. I did not
So-
intervene on purpose.
So instead of balling up the piece of paper, he like walks out of the bathroom with the paper in hand and like slaps it against Ernesto's chest of like, here you go. And Blake says, I don't know what to make of this. Hopefully I don't know what to make of this. It must be some sort of code. And what he actually says is, do 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 do.
Wow. Presaging I Dream of Jeannie by like 400 years. Amazing.
Yeah,
Is that where you're ending the scene?
that's where I'm going to end the scene.
Okay, so just to give us all a standing here, Will has finally accomplished an order, so I'm going to remove this order token that has been sitting here this whole time. You have now, Will, also accomplished all of your goals in terms of protagonist, NPC, and magic. Everyone's done with NPC as well, and so we've got to get some magic in the air, and we've got to have more protagonists solving their resolving their orders. So I'll put the orders back up so that people can see them, but 1 down, 3 to go, 1 doom left. Who's next?
Brenda, do you wanna? Anna, do you wanna go back and try yours?
I'm so scared.
I am gonna try mine, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we know what you're trying to do, Brendan. You can start setting the scene, or just tell us what your plan is this time.
So I think my plan, in the attempt to use my magic as well, I think I'm just gonna start walking through the castle and just say aloud, I'm pretty sure I'm going to run into her at some point. To just kind of invoke my magic in the hopes that I'll just suddenly bump into Clara.
Wait, remind me, what's your magic?
My magic is that whenever I say something, it becomes true, but then it has a physical consequence to me as well.
I love it. Oh, it's so perfect for this. So you're just like, I think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, the card will still determine whether it actually does happen or not, but I will suffer a physical consequence regardless.
Right, right. So, Will, I'll just remind you that you'll need to get rid of your Hueso card, the one that was extra.
Yep.
Just so you'll put that there. And so that's what Brendan's going to do. Any other wizards going to follow him around?
I think I'll come try and find him, after I've had my total mishap previously, to kind of be like, hey, I think I need some support here and maybe some ideas on how to remedy this. So I think I've probably I bump into him as he's wandering around being like, where is she? And he's like, oh no, wrong person.
Okay, no.
Just trying to find corpses at this point. They've had a very bad day.
Yeah, really bad day. So not along for the ride. Okay. So we can just start the screen. Brandon, where do you walk?
This is just a hallway on like one of the further wings of the castle. Um, it is near to the courtyard, but I'm not heading in the courtyard's direction. I'm just walking.
Awesome. All right.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, just Anna, how would you add to the scene?
I think I'm following along, kind of trying to like not get in his way, but also completely preoccupied by my own problem. And I would also like a card if you don't mind to figure out what ancestral sin I'm dealing with right now.
Looks like you're dealing with this one.
Okay.
The choice is fear or any other action.
All right. Cass, you have a sin you want me to deal with? Or should I come up with one?
Um, I think I would like to do a spin on that sin, actually. One of your ancestors was so fearful he resulted in the execution of several innocent people.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally just sat there in a corner whimpering while they were being beheaded.
Whoa! Horrific. So I am like scurrying behind Ernesto, being like, are you sure? Are you sure you want to? Are you sure you want to find her? Maybe we shouldn't be involved in any of this. And she is like fighting her own fear,
Mhm.
trying to find, essentially she needs to kind of like overcome each of these sins. So she is looking to find the inner bravery to move forward. But right now she is like scared out of her mind and being like, I just want to bolt.
Okay. So, Cass, do you want to add a detail here?
We're wandering through a corridor, correct?
Mhm.
Just for funsies, because poor Pepe is now having an endless argument with the rest of their organs, including bits of their skin. I think their magic is misfiring a little bit, and every time we pass by a courtier, uh, they just get icky almost, as if it's just a little constellation of mouse complaining about the last thing they did, about how they bumped their elbow or did not wash their hands quickly enough. Um, Possibly someone did not wash if they left the urinals.
Oh,
The
Pepe!
Tom is having a very unhappy conversation with a very horrified visitor.
You know,
It was generally otherwise a very unremarkable corridor, at least from Pepe's perspective.
I just want to say that, Reina Resoluta has her problems, but her bathroom game in Espada is top notch. Like, they have stalls, they're gold, they have washing facilities, like, everything else is bad, but the bathrooms are top notch. I love it. Will, do you want to add a detail? Or I should just say to you, add a detail.
Um, Speaking of bathroom game,
Oh,
um, there is a strange smell.
No.
Um, because as fancy as the bathroom game is and everything appears, there is not actually like a plumbing, like running sewage situation.
Right.
And instead, there is a very unique type of mushroom under the facilities that move the poo.
Say that one more time.
The mushrooms move the
The
poo.
mushrooms move the poo. I heard you correctly. Wow.
Okay. All right. Cool.
And so it is in this scene, Brendan, that Ernesto is trying to manifest his desires and run into Reina's true love, Clara, too. Do you want to just like play a little bit and then we'll draw a card?
Yeah. So I think like the opening of this is that Marta has met me while I was headed down this corridor, and I'm just trying to calm Marta back down, going, "My love, I assure you, what you've made is a minor error. The Queen will come to her senses and realize that you were not deserving of such strict talking down to. After the stress of this wedding is over, I assure you, we will return to some semblance of normalcy soon enough. And then you will forget that this interaction ever took place. I assure you, you don't need to dwell on this lingering worry any longer." And I kiss you on the cheek.
Aww, that's so sweet. Yeah, I think she calms down a little bit, but she still has this like nagging worry that she's like, after this, she's never going to be able to rise up the ranks. She's never going to be able to be taken seriously, and so she kind of is bolstered with some courage to keep going, but she is still a little hesitant.
Shall we see if Clara 2 runs
Yes.
into you? Okay, so remember, you have 5 cards here. Let's hope this is one of the 5.
Mhm.
Do you have an Espacio card?
I do. Oh my God, yes. Whew.
No, that was too loud. I got excited.
And so Genius prefers effort over genius. Tell us what happens.
It's one of my favorites.
I like this. I like this because I use my magic essentially.
Not even essentially, directly.
Yeah, but even though it is obviously the consequence of my magic, as I turn the corner and like I notice, obviously that as a result of my magic, there's this like large, like deepening, like strongly burning brand of an arrow that forms on my right forearm.
Ooh.
And I look at it going, well, I guess a thing has happened. And I look forward from it. And I see Clara 2, still obviously drunk, further down the corridor. And for a moment, I'm like, did I just idly notice that she was always there? Or did the thing happen? Well, it doesn't matter, because now she's here. And I walk up towards her. Excuse me, young lady, do you mind if I briefly hold your attention for a moment?
Would someone like to play Clara 2?
We've all done the NPC thing,
Yeah.
so I'll do it again. That's fine.
Okay. I just put the information up, Will, if you just wanted a quick glance at. She's the ice-cold CEO type, severe boundaries,
Yeah.
cold-hearted.
I mean, I guess then I should ask you, or is Clara still drunk?
Clara was never drunk. She did a brief drinking to maintain her social status.
Ah, okay, cool. Yeah, fair.
She is a little
hello.
tipsy.
Hello, do you mind if I would like to ask you a few questions?
I would prefer that you did not.
I understand that concern, but to be sure, it's very important that I
allocate each guest at this party roughly 47 seconds of my time to maintain a social standing until I move along. You have wasted 13 of them.
I will make use of the remainder of the time then. I am here to let you know that the Queen has insisted that you should travel a great distance to accomplish a very specific errand for her very soon in preparation for a future festivity regarding Kalea. I am sad to report that you will be traveling by sea later tonight to the western reaches of our territories. And that, me uttering that sentence, is me using my magic again.
Right.
Yeah.
So, in fact, it already works. So this is going to work on her. So, Will, what does she say?
Gotcha. Please provide the travel documents and request itinerary to my assistant while I go pack. Thank you for your time. And then she just turns and fucking bugs out.
Yeah. And she's gonna be on a boat literally before the wedding ceremonies begin.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That is amazing. Okay, friends. So it's 7:17. Because of your incredible string of bad luck, the game went a little longer than it usually does. Amazing. What I'm going to propose is that I consult with you, and I think we need an hour, maybe less, to be able to finish out the game. Maybe what we can do is just try to find one more little session that we could do just to put a cap on the game. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah, that works with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm open to that.
Thank you so much. But here's our status right now. You've accomplished that order, so I'm going to take it off. You've got 2 orders to accomplish, so 2 more protagonists have to complete their missions. You've got 2 more pieces of magic to use. You're on the brink of disaster, though, with 1 more doom to save your butts. So it's going to be a nail-biter here at the end. You each have 5 cards, which is 1 more than normal. It tips the odds in your favor, especially since you've gotten rid of a lot of the cards that have already caused disaster. So the deck is stacked in your favor. It's seesawing back here. But what we'll do is I will post on the Kickstarter when our dramatic conclusion to this game is going to be. Let me say thank you so much to Anna Russell, Brendan O'Brien, Khaw, and Will Sobel. Thank you so much for playing, everybody. What an incredibly wild session full of horror and hilarity. Normally what I would do is I would just kind of like go and ask you how you think the session went, but I think the session is still kind of going, so we'll save that for next time. But I want to say thank you all so much for playing. Thank you, chat, for sticking with us and watching all this time. I will be posting on the Kickstarter, letting you know when we'll do the dramatic conclusion, and I think we'll just say goodnight from there. So from me and from our players, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you, players. You guys are incredible. All right. The chat is ending as soon as I figure out OBS. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Bye.